All right, welcome into another edition of the Second Half Draft Show. I am your host, Juice, joined by Headley and Drew. Drew's on the road, so he'll be in and out here as we cover the offensive line prospects, Headley and Drew's respective rankings, top 15 interior offensive linemen as well as top 15 offensive tackles. We're going to work from the inside out here, gentlemen. Of course, you got Headley looking very young, cleaned up very nicely, looking very young. Took 10, 12 years. I don't know if you got 15 off.
Nah, it's about 15 years.
It's about 15.
15 years off. Got to get ready for this draft, man. This draft's
Get
coming
ready
up,
for
man.
this draft. Get ready for this draft. So looking very dapper, like a young man out here. Let's get into your top 15 in terms of the interior of the offensive line. And right at the beginning here, you have Hunter Norzat and Satoa Laumea, I believe, is how his name is pronounced. You actually have him as your 15th ranked lineman, and then we flip it actually at 14. So let's just go straight to 14 here. Hallie, you start us off with Laumea.
Laumea played right tackle last season for Utah, the Utes, but he has a lot of experience at guard as well throughout his collegiate career. I think he lacks the foot speed, but he's more suitable for the move inside. At tackle, you saw the tape at Utah, but then we saw him at the Senior Bowl, correct? He was at the Senior Bowl,
yep.
And he looked better inside, man. He does a good job of moving, inside at the Senior Bowl. I think he got to get his hands up more consistently inside the pads. Sometimes his hands are too wide, a little inconsistent with the hands, but he's willing to do the hand battle. He'll battle with defenders with those hands. I just want to see it more inside the pads than outside. I think the twitchier guys might get him. He's a little slow-footed, so I think that move to the interior will be better for him, get him in tighter spaces. Like I said, he's at best moving through the phone booth, locating blocks in tight quarters. I think the less space is the better for Laumea. He's a phone booth body. He goes block to block. He climbs it from first level to the second level. 4-year experience at guard and tackle. So, gives you that versatility along the offensive line, even though I think his home will be on the interior at the next level. You just got to watch those oversetting. He oversets a lot and doesn't have really the foot agility to slide back in. So just got to watch that. Even at guard, you see him, overset sometimes, because usually you see the tackles overset more than the guards, but
sure,
he does it at guard also. So you just got to fix that issue. But, I like him as an interior offensive lineman at the next level.
Yeah, that's always a concern with some prospects, right? As far as they're trying to get out to their landmark and overset, they become susceptible to an inside move. And if you don't have the requisite athleticism to recover, that could be problematic. So something he needs to clean up there. But I agree with you. I like what I saw from him in Mobile. It wasn't perfect. It wasn't always pretty, but I love the way he competes. I think he's going to be a good day 3 option here for somebody's interior offensive line. Drew, let's get your thoughts on Laumea before we move on to Hunter Norzat.
Y'all let me know in the comment section how bad it is.
You're getting drowned out, Drew. You're getting drowned out.
I'm trying not to listen. I lost my voice because all the yelling I was doing today.
Here we go.
I'm the volleyball. I'm the volleyball dad.
Did you drink some tea, bro?
Listen, I didn't. I was drinking. It's part of the issue. I usually do my high noon, not to promote, but the White Claw was a little cheaper. You know what I'm saying? So I went with that. It's not bad. It's not bad, but I'll take my high noon.
White Claw.
You gotta settle. Sometimes you gotta settle, man. You gotta go with the college stuff, man. So I did. It ain't too bad. It's depending on the flavor. But anyways, Laumea, I left Altoids at home on the desk, so they chilling. That would actually work. Yeah, it would help. But Headley kind of spoke to Laumea in terms of him not well. In a pinch, I think he could play tackle, but I would not play him at tackle if I don't have to. Right? I think he's a guard, true. Watching him play, obviously you can definitely see why he has to play inside. He has slow eyes, and at times his hands are slow as well. So I've seen a lot of times where guys who have speed will beat him around the edge because he doesn't get to his spot, doesn't drop his anchor in time. So, I think being inside that will protect him from having to deal with that on a consistent basis. I think space is his enemy, right? When he's aggressive is when you see him at his best, right? Latching, driving folks back. He has to just make that first contact and be able to drive folks back. When his hands are good, he gets them where they need to be, so he can latch onto that defender and drive those guys back, especially in the run game and in the pass game. He's more of a I got a new term, bro. As I was working through these guys, I have an absorber, right? And I think that's what he is, a guy who allows guys to come to him versus him going to them, right? Specifically in the pass game. And I think he's comfortable having it that way. And you got to be powerful, you got to be strong when those things come, right? And your hands got to be right. Otherwise, you're going to have problems, right? Has natural strength. I think he should be in a power scheme. And watching the Washington game, boy, they was giving him the business, bro. Because there's a lot of power guys over there. Braylon Trice was having a day. A couple of the linebackers was having a day. It was rough, bro. It was rough.
No, it's understandable, and I think we're all in agreement that his home at the next level is the interior, and as you mentioned, space is what works against him. But I like the idea. I like the idea of him being in more of a gap power scheme where he can just leverage that physicality, play with good leverage, and drive guys off the ball in the run game. And as far as his pass protection, again, once he gets to his uh, his landmark, and avoiding oversetting, as Headley mentioned, he can absorb. He can absorb that rush and does a pretty good job handling the bull rush. Now, secondary, tertiary moves, some of these more technically refined pass rushers might be able to give him some work, after that initial pass rush. But that initial bull rush, he does a pretty good job with. So that's loud, man. Let's talk about Hunter Norzad, and we'll start with you, Drew. There you go.
I was working in the storm, my bad. Yeah. Hunter Norzad moves and plays the pivot well. I like him a lot. Pivot sees I can pass off games well. He's a smooth operator when it comes to that in terms of those twist stunts, things that we can play up front, sending that extra green dog blitz, whatever it is. He's going to pick it up and find it. When he attacks, he is mean, nasty. Not a guy you're going to beat across his face. Went too quick. Can be pressed, pushed, and moved with power. So I think power would be his problem. And obviously, that's usually the case with a pivot, right? It's usually guys with power. Because usually the pivot's usually a smaller guy, so you kind of understand that. Not as fast and good of a mover at the pivot, than a Van Pran or a JPJ. And I know I'm going right to the top, right? Feisty and a little mixed up. Guy here again lacks the power in the run game, so he may do a little more than he should trying to move this guy. And this can cause him problems in terms of end up disengaging with the guy that he's dealing with, that power guy, right? Because he doesn't have the requisite power to do so. He does seal guys off, so I think that's kind of a, you don't necessarily have the power. You may have to change it to, okay, I don't have the power here, but I can seal him off, right?
Mm-hmm.
I can move him to a side, I can turn my body away so the guy coming behind me can sneak up behind me and make it through the hole, right? My guy here fires too quick at the second level at times and will miss his guy because he's aggressive when it comes to that, to try to get to this guy. But I really like it because he can move. I really like him a lot. He's just got to refine a couple of those things in terms of his hands right, so he can, so his power can show. Because again, if he's dealing with a guy that has a lot of power, his hands are right. It's going to be a struggle.
Go ahead, Headley.
Yeah, Hunter Norzad, I believe he's the sleeper center in this class. His tape really impressed me, and it was his tape against the top echelon teams, which made it more impressive against Michigan and against Ohio State. He played good ball at that pivot for Penn State. I think he has good hands and twitch to stay in front of defenders. Sometimes a little too twitchy, though. Not enough patience. I think he could be a little more patient, but he has good feet. Good lower body strength to drive defenders back. He's got to eliminate leaving his feet, diving at defenders. Diving at defenders. The first rep against Michigan, he kind of lunged over the defender's knees, and I was like, man, you got to stay on your feet. As offensive lineman, one of the most important things for me is you got to be on your feet. You can't be on the ground all the time. So I think you got to clean that up a little bit, just eliminate diving. But he has the ability to do those duo blocks, to peel off one, get to the second level defender. He's proficient in pulling and locating at the second level. Because I always speak about it, like you could get to the second level, but can you locate and can you attach to the defender? I think he does that well. He's an easy mover. I believe he could play in a power or zone scheme, so I think he's scheme versatile. And I love the way he attacks and the intensity that he plays with. He likes to finish guys, so I like that about Norris' dad. But what I think he'd do a better job of is just squaring guys up. He gets in trouble when his angles are off a little bit. I saw some balance issues on tape. You know, the reason why he might be on the ground a lot, just got to keep his balance better. But other than that, man, I think eyes and awareness and recognition against twists also. You know, you see it sometimes in those big games that I spoke about. He just didn't recognize the guys twisting up front, was a little slow to get there. So just having more recognition, I think he could improve upon that as well. But he got good mirror matchability in the pass sets. I like him in the run game also. So, you know, he does it in the run game, does it in the pass game, and he could play in any scheme, in my opinion. So I think he's a sleeper center in this class. So it's a name to watch, Hunter Norris dad from Penn State.
Helen, let me ask you a quick question regarding the balance issue. Are we talking about, you know, the upper half too far over his toes? Is it a lack of power and then he can get knocked off balance? What is it that you're seeing as far as the balance is concerned?
I think he's doing too much sometimes, where he's diving at guys, he's leaving his feet. He just got to stay compact and stay squared. I think the power, I think he does need to get a little stronger. So I think it's a combination of probably both. But you know, it's all over the tape with him being on the ground. He just got to just trust himself, square up, and just trust that technique. Because once he gets those good angles and has that good leverage, he's fine. I think he just does too much sometimes.
Gotcha. Shout out Download Music, Mr. C. Prassy. Welcome, guys. I know you guys were in early. Let's move on to your 13th ranked interior offensive lineman here. Headley, you have Mason McCormick out of South Dakota State, and Drew, you have Trevor Keegan among quite a few. Really, the entirety of that Michigan offensive line will play at some point in the NFL. But Keegan checks in as your 13th ranked interior offensive lineman. Let's talk about Mason McCormick, Headley.
Well, he tested well at the combine. Also, but when I looked at the tape, he seems more lumbering. He's an interior bully, looks more top heavy in his body. He got inconsistent bend at the knees and leverage. I think it limits him a little bit with that bend and that leverage. Also, I think he could do a better job of holding up his blocks in the run game. Offensive linemen sometimes have a tendency to just try to hit a guy and kind of get his hands on him and, you know, have the grip strength on him so he doesn't escape. But he kind of likes to bully and he kind of likes to hit a little bit too much. I just want him to play with, you know, more patience in the run game. But he was hard to beat in the passing game. He's a big body. He's hard to get around or through. I think he could turn guys and open up rushing lanes. And he got that nasty, man. He's one of the most nastiest offensive linemen in this class. He just plays with that nasty thing that you like in the offensive line. He fights for everything. So he's one of those guys that he's not going to lay down. You know exactly where he's going to be and what he's about. And as an offensive lineman, man, you just can't teach that. And he has that in spades. 3-year starter, a lot of starts. He started 57 consecutive games for these guys. So, you know, a lot of experience, a lot of starts. And he was a Shrine Game winner. In the Shrine Game, he showcased what he could do. Played center at practices, so he has that versatility to play guard or center. So it's 3-position versatility for him. I love how physical he is. It's just some things I think he needs to clean up. But, you know, he's really good in the run game.
Anticipating, you know, potentially better coaching at the next level to clean up some of those issues. You mentioned perhaps he's a little top heavy. I think in the interior in particular, I mean, obviously you want a nice weight distribution top and bottom, right? But especially in the interior, you can't be narrow, you know, in your lower half. You can't be narrow in your lower half. That'll get you in trouble. So I think with some additional development, McCormick could certainly be a player. Go ahead, Drew. Let's jump in on Trevor Keegan.
Facially, man, I got the laptop, so it's not as smooth. Trevor Keegan moves very well, pulling and at the second level. Again, I'm probably gonna say this a couple of different times with a couple of different guys we got here, but he's an absorber when it comes to pass protection, but also an attacker when it comes to the run game.
And I mean, not to interrupt you, but I mean, I think it's it's intuitive, right? It's intuitive when you're run blocking, you're getting off the snap and you're getting upfield.
Let me
there you go.
Let me define it. My bad.
Please,
right.
Please.
Okay. So when I say an absorber, you're okay with guys getting their hands on you first versus you getting your hands on them, right? So some guys are okay with that happening and can take it and can essentially kind of redirect or absorb it and then kind of go with what they do in terms of their hands. I don't think that's a great plan, but there are guys who can deal with it.
So in other words, they're not necessarily firing that punch out.
Correct.
Gotcha.
They're letting the guy fire their punch. Okay, he did this. Okay, now I can do this because now I'm going to counter. In their mind.
Got it.
And yes, exactly. Yeah, you got it. Right. And then obviously we know what attack is in terms of the run game. A guy who's not a mover, people normally. Let me see. I messed that up when I typed here, man. So forgive me. He can play a little high at times. That causes him to lose leverage, and power, especially in the run game, and then gets in these places where he can't move the guy. It's kind of a stalemate. But if someone's running behind you, and if you can't either hold them up as that guy's running behind you, then that's going to be a play made for the defender, right? That's that stack and shed that we talked about, I think, in the previous pod, where you just stack and shed and move you out of the way. And so either in that moment, you either need to seal a guy off, or you need to be able to control that guy so he can't stack and shed you, right? So it's kind of hit or miss when it comes to that for him. But that's kind of what I got for Trevor Keegan over there. And a lot of these Michigan offensive linemen are actually really good. I know Headley had said it before, but these guys are solid players, man. And if you're adding those guys on your roster, I think if they don't play this year, they're damn sure going to play in the next 3 years. Right?
Yep. Well, Coach Bunch here out of Michigan. Headley, your thoughts on Keegan? You actually have him as your 12th ranked interior offensive lineman.
Yeah, I'm going to start where Drew left off at. These guys have high IQ. All these Michigan offensive linemen are very smart football players, and Trevor Keegan's no different. I like Trevor Keegan a lot. Played left guard 3 years on that dominant Michigan offensive line. Played in a lot of big games. They made the playoffs 3 straight years, so he has that experience in those big games. I love his intensity and his motor. He plays through the whistle. Has power to turn defenders on the interior. Plays with a quick twitch in order to pull in the pass or run game. Always looking for work. And what Michigan does a lot, and Keegan is really good at it also, is those dual blocks. You know, they get one and they move to the second level and get another one. So, you know, in that power scheme, I like Keegan there. He's a leg driver. He has the power to push and create rooms for back on short yardage. I actually thought he was excellent in the short yardage game. A lot of those runs where Blake Kerr and they needed like a yard or, you know, short yardage at the goal line, I thought they went behind Trevor Keegan. So I like how he pushes the defensive lineman back in the run game. He has that leg drive and power to create rooms for backs. So, you know, he has a lot of things that I like. I think he could come in and be a plug-and-play guy because of that IQ and just being in those big games on that Michigan offensive line. What I do think he could struggle with, though, is athleticism at the next level. Those athletic guys with great hand counters that he's going to be facing. I think that's where he might struggle. But in that power run game and picking up stunts and twists and the IQ, the dual blocks getting to the second level, I like Trevor Keegan doing that a lot. And he plays to the whistle, man. He's just a tough competitor.
I actually really like what I saw in the limited time he was at Mobile. I think he suffered an injury day 1, maybe day 2, and he shut it down. But that initial one-on-one group, I thought he jumped out. He can kind of get lost, right? You know, the headliner was Zach Zinter. Of course, he deals with the injury, but Michigan still found ways to win those big games. You know, they still had the continuity and the consistent play up front, and I think Trevor Keegan was a big part of that. Drew, your thoughts on Isaiah Adams coming in as your 12th ranked interior offensive lineman?
So we saw him, if I'm not mistaken, at the Senior Bowl.
Yep.
This is a guy you gotta get him. You hear me?
Yeah.
Get him in a phone booth, bro. I think I said this before, but have you ever seen on Twitter? It's a guy, they put guys in an actual phone booth and the boys fighting. Just be swinging, bro.
Yeah.
It's comical, but it's also like vicious at the same time.
I bet.
And and I think Isaiah Adams would dominate in that. And this is a guy who's played guard, right tackle, and left tackle, but I think he belongs in that bone move. You will see a cage match at times. Feet will sync up with his hands. He will mirror and match. Can be beaten quickly with inside moves. Though. At Senior Bowl, he normally would take on the initial blow, and then he would recover using his power. He played right tackle, left tackle, guard. I think he's a better left tackle. He's a better left tackle than he is a right tackle, and a better guard than he is a. I messed this up. Man, I messed. This is supposed to be a good quote, bro. It's supposed to be a good quote, bro. I messed this up. I'm so mad right now.
He a guard, bro. He a guard.
He is a guard.
If you watch the 2022 tape of tackle, it didn't.
No. This one I'm gonna say.
Like 23 tape at tackle. My bad.
Let me line it up.
Line it up.
He trying to get this quote off, bro.
I am. I'm so mad. I ain't typing. I read it like I typed it up right, and I didn't. Let me get it. Let me just read through this real quick. Okay, I got it. He's a better left tackle than he is a right tackle, but he's a better guard than he is a right tackle. So the guard is where he needs to be. No question.
Sure.
Right. I think as a tackle, he's a passive player. Lets a lot of defenders come at him, causes him to be controlled by the defender. Due to this, his anchor, he doesn't drop his anchor in time or late, or sometimes never at all. Space is his enemy.
Yeah.
So get him in that moment.
Yep. Absolutely. Kick him inside. Reduce that amount of space that he ultimately has to be responsible for. Moving right along here in your interior offensive lineman rankings, 11th rank, you have Tanner Bortolini. You guys are actually synced up here. You both have him as your 11th ranked interior offensive lineman. We'll start with you, Headley.
Oh, well, this guy tested off the charts at the combine, man. Did the athleticism, tested off the charts there, and it shows up on tape as well. Bortolini's always looking for work. I think once he's squared up, he has a good anchor to hold up against power. He's not a super physical guy to drive guys, but I think he has enough anchor when he's squared up. And that's the most important thing for him is the positioning. He has to be in the right positioning because sometimes those power guys could kind of shed his blocks and drive him back. So I think position is important for him in the passing game and the run game as well. But that's where he flourishes in the run game. When he gets to the second level, though, he loses his balance at times, kind of forward leaning. So he got to clean up the technique once he gets to the second level. But very aware to get the second guy coming on the delayed blitz. I think he has very good lateral movement. So he'll get the first guy. If a guy comes on a stun or a twist, he can move sideways and get that second guy. Going forward, that's his game, man. He does a really good job getting to the first and working his way to the second level. And like I said, positioning, very important for him because when he's not squared up, he can get beat through contact. I want to see him improve that balance because he's another guy seen on the ground quite a bit. And it's, lack of power sometimes will have guys on the ground. Lack of technique will have guys on the ground. So I think those are the two things he needs to work on. But you get him in that zone running scheme, and he has that athleticism to get to the second level. So he's going to be very scheme dependent, very team dependent, a team that runs the scheme that he likes to play, and those guys sometimes go earlier than you expect because, a team's going to find them like the Packers, 49ers, teams that run that scheme. They're going to prioritize guys like Bortolini. So he'll be a plug and play guy in that kind of scheme.
I don't know what to make of him as it relates to the archetype you generally get from Wisconsin, right? When you think Wisconsin offensive lineman, you generally think big, burly, power gap scheme guys, right? That phone booth, let's throw some haymakers, but Bortolini is let me get out in space. You understand what I'm saying? Let me pull, you know what I mean? So yeah, he's a little bit different of an archetype. And of course, Wisconsin had a bit of a change in terms of their scheme as well. So as you mentioned, there are a lot of NFL teams that leverage an outside zone scheme, and I'm sure he'll be in pretty high demand, all things considered. Drew, your thoughts on Bortolini?
for the lead. True pivot. I got here. Not a guy you're going to beat across his face. And this is the guy we did actually see at the Senior Bowl. And I was rough on him first day. I was like, yo, I don't know if he belongs out here, bro.
The one-on-one drills one for him, bro.
No, they're not. They're not. And they're unfair because it allows the guy you're going against to have a two-way go. It's like going against a slot, right? So they have the advantage. So that's not his cup of tea. But as the week went on, he actually got better. So I had to give him his kudos, especially in the 11-on-11. That's kind of where you saw him kind of show what he can do.
More real game scenario. Yep.
Right. And I think, Headley, you kind of spoke about, you said it in a different way, but I got that the longer the block, the more aggressive he becomes, because he's kind of starting to get his leverage right. Or what did you say? Get his what you said? Not leverage. I forget the word you used.
Positioning.
Positioning. Yeah. He gets his positioning right. So he can get more aggressive because now he realizes, okay, now I can go to drive, control the guy that's in front of me, right? I had a mean streak with him. I thought he was a really good mover when he was able to get in position like you were talking about. I thought he could play in any system, but I think his home is a zone scheme. Get that man moving and going. I got here. I got here. Hands can get him in trouble, especially with guys with power over his face. So, and this is not, and again, this is kind of what you saw at Mobile, but if you're going to put a big nose over him, I think he may struggle with that initially. Maybe he can recover, but most of all, I think that you're going to have to maybe send him some help initially. And then that guard can kind of peel off and look for somebody else. But I think that may be an issue for him.
That's exactly what I was going to say. I'm lining up a big nose over him. That's I'm going to neutralize his athleticism and just put him in a fist fight, right? And his ability to continue to develop and learn how to deal with that is going to be significant in terms of his ability to really be a top of end contributor at the next level, because I think there's a lot of upside there. I think there are people who believe he's a day 2 prospect, perhaps more of a day 3 prospect for us, but certainly that's going to be the real test for him, that dealing with a 0 tech, 1 tech that's really just hammering him all game. All right, we'll move into your top 10 in terms of interior offensive line rankings here. Headley, you're a little bit higher on Isaiah Adams than Drew was, and Drew, you're a little bit higher on Mason McCormick than Headley was. We'll start with the Isaiah Adams conversation, Headley.
You guys alluded to it, man. This guy's a guard. You threw on the tackle tape in 2023, and it wasn't good, So you got to really scout him in 2022, because that's the tape you needed when he was playing guard, and it was impressive to me. I think Isaiah Adams could be a star. I think he could be a star in this league. Inside on the interior at the guard. He's a big bully on the interior. You get one, go up into the run game, get the next guy. I like his movement ability. I just think he needs to break down a little better in the second level. I'll talk about attaching. So he could move to the second level, but he has to do a better job of attaching and just being more aware, head on a swivel out there. But he has the size and the athleticism to be a starter at the next level. Like I said, he played right tackle last season, but when he went to the Senior Bowl, that's when you were like, okay, I see what he's doing on the interior. So I went back to the 2022 tape and I was like, this guy could be a beast at guard at the next level. But I think his hands tend to start off with too low. I think DP spoke about, that's what they're being coached nowadays, to keep their hands low and then get them high. I don't like to see it because some guys can't get it high once it's already low. So, but, he got to fix that a little bit. But false steps, I've seen that on tape a lot, and especially the tackle position. So he'll make a false step and he couldn't get back in time to kind of seal off the edge. So, those false steps show up in the run and pass game for Isaiah Adams. But that's why you move him inside. I think moving him inside could alleviate a lot of issues that he has. Just get him in more tighter quarters. I think that would be beneficial for Isaiah Adams. And he seems to always be a step behind or late. I think oversetting is kind of an issue for him as well. But he has good anchor and base for the bull rush. but he got the traits. He's another guy where position is important, needs to be in the correct position. And then when he's in front of defenders, he's hard to beat due to his size and strength. Awareness, IQ can improve as well. So he has things to work on. The positioning, locating guys, the awareness, the IQ. But I think if he gets into a good coaching system, a good staff that could teach him these things, I think he could be a star at the next level because he's quick, he's fast, he's looking for work, and he's big. So, he has a lot to like. And I think he's my sleeper, man. He's my day 3 guy that could be an eventual beast at the next level.
Yeah, he has some really intriguing traits, and I noted coming out of the Senior Bowl when his hands and feet are working in concert, when it's all synced up, he's tough, bro. He's tough. Now, that he gets that out of whack. He doesn't necessarily always have the ability to recover, and doesn't really have a plan B. But if he has it lined up correctly, things are in concert. He's very difficult to deal with. He can stall out among the best power and bull rushes. He can stall it out as a guard there. Drew, your thoughts on McCormick?
All right, McCormick. So I know Headley had said this earlier, but the first note I have is he's top heavy, and if you need to know what that looks like, go look up basically. It's right.
You can see it right there in the picture.
Yeah. There's no way around it. So we gotta see what's going on down below and get the top right and see what's up down below.
Missing leg days.
I mean, not everybody.
Mike Mayock used to say it, man. You need a bubble butt, bro. You gotta have that bubble. You need that donk. You know what I'm saying, to play that guard, bro.
Yeah, get in there, listen, get in there, get them squats, get in there, get them leg presses, and get in there and get that dead. No excuse. I know they painful, but you know what I'm saying. It's gonna have you looking right and even, bro. We want to be even. We don't want to be looking like I don't know what's the character.
Popeye.
Yeah, Popeye, bro. You're crazy, bro. You can't just give yourself some spinach and then handle business, bro. Brutus ain't out there, bro. No olive, no Brutus, ain't none of that. But but when his hands stick, he will drive the ball. He's got that Quentin Nelson in him in terms of being disgusting, as I like to say. He is an attacker in everything, whether it be pass, whether it be the run game. I spoke about him playing, multiple positions, center, guard, tackle. He has some nice mirror match in terms of his pass game. When his feet get there, he can be over-aggressive. That causes him a lot of problems. So, if you being top heavy, on top of you're over-aggressive, right? Mm-hmm. And you're trying to do a little too much. That causes a lot of your problems, and I think if you just dialed it back,
cow tipping. Now we cow tipping out here.
Now we cow tipping, and it makes it so much. It makes your issues so much more worse than they are. You're supposed to protect or avoid your warts being exposed, and because he's over aggressive, they get exposed, right? So that's a him thing versus something he can fix because it's to me. I mean, something is very, very simple. And we always talk about small school guys. Did you dominate? That's the number one question I got to ask before we start anywhere else. Did you dominate? Yes, he did.
All right. Moving right along here. In your interior offensive lineman rankings, Zach Zinter checking in as your 9th ranked interior offensive lineman here, Headley. And Drew, you have Cedric Van Pran, perhaps a little bit lower than I anticipated here with Van Pran. I'll start with you, Headley. You might as well be Headley. You got
that haircut.
You look like a different person, bro.
That's funny, bro. Oh, well, Zach Zinter broke his fibula and tibia this last season, so got to get healthy. But on tape, very strong base and anchor to hold up against the bull rush. Very powerful guy because he holds up against the bull rush really well. It's just those quicker twitch interior defensive linemen. I think they might give him some fits at the next level. It's kind of like Trevor Keegan. These Michigan guys, they handle power really well. It's those quicker twitch guys, but I do think he has underrated movement ability to pull, especially for a big guy. You see him pulling a lot in that Michigan offense. His hands are active, ready to go. He's a fighter with his hands. Like I said, twitcher pass rush can beat him with their agility because he's a little bit flat-footed, susceptible to that crossover move. You know, that Allen Iverson move, man. Those quick twitch defensive tackles could go one way, trick him, go back the next way, and beat him because he's kind of flat-footed at times. But in a phone booth, his pass pro is excellent. So in a phone booth, pass pro excellent. Run game, he's excellent. Just those twitchier guys. He opened up big holes. And remember that Ohio State game last year, Donovan Edwards breaking those big runs? It was the Zach Zinter side. So, you know, he has the ability to open up big holes in the run game. He has an upright nature, though. This allows him to bend effectively. And that could be the problem with him against the twitchier guys also, just being a little upright. But I like how he gets out of his stance quickly. He gets to the optimal position that I like to talk about. Like I say, good base and anchor. His ability to pull and attach to blocking, leading the way. He's like a lead blocker. You know, they pull him and he's lead blocking, and he can locate really well in a phone booth. We don't want him with too much space, but in the phone booth, he can locate really well. And he has really good angles too. So, yeah, he's going to be he's a starting level guard at the next level. You know, in the run game, he's excellent. In the pass game, he's hard to push back. He absorbs, like Drew likes to call it now. I'm going to use it now, Drew. He absorbs that contact really well. It's just about his foot speed now. I think against NFL competition, twitchier guys, that's what he needs to work on. But everything else, he checks boxes.
You know, Drew, you actually have Zinter as your 8th ranked interior offensive lineman. So we'll kind of flip the script here. Why don't you give us your thoughts on Zinter, and then we'll talk about Van Pran.
Yeah, I got here. If his hands are in the right place at the point of attack, it's over. Moves well in the phone booth. Can be late on games up front, and I'm talking like a smidge, like a hair at times. Physical in the run game, but will play patty cake in the pass game. Right? By patty cake, I don't mean anything soft, just that I'm willing to mirror and match. I'm willing to as your hands come in, knock them away, get my hands up. And we just wasting time. We just waiting for this pass to get off. There's nothing, you know, I'm not going to let you around me. I'm not going to let you through me. We can just play this game. And I think he's good doing that consistently. Has to keep them hands inside and make solid contact. It needs to be ready for the defensive counter to those hands. If not, he will slip off initial blocks at the point of attack, or will altogether get controlled by the defender, or he might just whiff. And so, in terms of the run game, so I got here has some technical issues that I think teams gonna look at and say, "Man, we can fix that immediately," and we got a plug and play.
Yeah, and of course, based on the mock drafts, what we're thinking, considering the timing of the injury, he might actually come at a little bit of a discount here. I know that's Mr. C. Press. These guys looking forward to the Seahawks running the card up. Might get him. Might get him running the card up. They do have a need in the interior of their offensive line at guard. Headley, let's get us started with the Van Pran conversation. You have him as your 8th ranked interior offensive lineman. What do you like about Van Pran?
I thought Van Pran, I thought he was a tough evaluation for me, to be honest, because you see things on tape you really like, and then you see the inconsistency. It's like he doesn't look like the same guy snap to snap to me. So it was a hard evaluation. I think when moving forward, he has a tendency to lose his balance, his shoulder pads over his feet. I think that's one of his main issues, man. He's too forward leaning and footwork. I think that needs work with Cedric Van Pran. But when it looks good, super athletic, he gets to the second level, he gets speed, and his athleticism really stands out. I think his anchor is good. He could absorb the power. He's another guy, I think, that with defenders with good hand technique, I think they could beat him with his hands. And I had to look his arm length up because it's pretty short. So he uses it well for how short it is. But, you know, defenders at the next level with that excellent hand technique, I think they could beat him. But I love the way he gets out of his stance after snapping the ball and attacks defensive tackles. He's a guy that likes to go forward. So, you know, I like that about him. But I think his strength and anchor to stand defensive lineup and not allow them to push him back into the backfield. So I think his strength and anchor holds up. It's just a leverage, man. I think the leverage with him can improve. So it's some technical things with Van Pran why he's so inconsistent. But if he gets coached up and he fixes those issues, I like his power and his speed. I think he has a good combination of both.
Your thoughts on Van Pran, Drew? Go ahead.
I got here, physical, aggressive player. He wants to mix it up too much, doing too much, and I think that's part of his problem. That's where we get into the what do you call it, cow tipping, some lunging. He's just way too aggressive. He's got to relax, man. I love his movement ability to get to the second and third level, or quick pulling. He's also good when you want to run screens. I think he gets out there. I think, again, though, he gets into trouble when we talk about getting to his guy. He's so aggressive. Sometimes he'll just go run right past his guy. I don't know what he's looking at, don't know what he's seeing, and then you see him kind of stop, try to peel back, and it's too late. I think this is another guy I think I was talking about Mason McCormick, so I got them next to each other, is that they're just too over-aggressive, right? And I think maybe the issue may be that it may be the short arm, so he feels like, hey, I got to get to the guy before he gets to me, right?
Sure.
And so there's no issues, right? So I think that may be part of his issue. He's trying to not get that exposed, but you just got to come up with a little more control, right? Because I think he's got the requisite size, he's got nice movement ability, but all your problems from the run in the past stem from you just being too aggressive, and everybody in out to get you, man. It's okay. Like, just you need to get your hands up, and maybe we can play some patty cake, man. Like, you got to relax, man. You got to get them hands in position in the run game, not sliding, slipping, and head forward and cow tipping on in the run game, man. Let's get that under control.
Temper some of that aggressiveness. You know, going back to the summer scouting, that was really my first focus on Van Pran. I just recall the anchor. The anchor was impressive. He gets locked in. Again, of course, shorter arms, that could be a concern. Of course, mitigated to a certain degree in the interior, but still could make a difference here in terms of how effective he can be. But once he gets locked in, he drops anchor. It's done. The rep is over. The rep is over, and I can appreciate that. So, as you mentioned, needs to be a little bit more, calculated in his approach, particularly when he's in space. Moving right along here, 7th-ranked interior offensive lineman. Headley, you have Christian Mahogany, and Drew, you have Cooper Beebe. And go ahead, Drew, get us started with Cooper Beebe. Guy, I think it's like a forgotten guy, kind of, right? He gets, lost in the sauce. I know there was a lot more buzz around him prior to the pre-draft process, but he's not going to wow you with athleticism or anything like that. I'm not even sure he's been healthy enough to really, go through everything as it relates to the offseason. So what are your thoughts on him?
I think part of the issue may be one is out of sight, out of mind with him being injured. Two, I think it also comes down to does he really fit one particular scheme, right? So you start to chip away at what he can be for you, right? Especially when we talk about all these other guys that we've been talking about. But in terms of the notes, I got an absorber and pass pro. He's physical at the point of attack. In the run game, he's an attacker that's physical at the point of attack. He holds nothing back. He's got that disgusting streak in him. Looks to punish folks. Strong lower half. I think he lacks the movement ability to play tackle in the league, and is not the guy you want in a zone scheme. Let's get that doubles going, and get him some help, and he can peel off and find some guys and find some work.
Power. That's what we're trying. Power, bro.
Yeah,
power.
Absolutely.
Headley, Christian Mahogany out of Boston College.
Yeah, Mahogany missed all of 2022 season with an ACL injury. So he kind of got forgotten about last season. But he came back last season. He was first team All ACC. So he kind of bounced back from that injury, that ACL injury, which was good to see. And if you watch Mahogany from the start of his career until now, he improved his footwork tremendously, because the footwork was always his issue, his problem. He's big, he's powerful in the run game, but that footwork needed improvement, and I thought he got better, especially last year in 2023. I thought his footwork improved there. Now he does a better job of staying in front of defenders. I love his punch and his hand usage, man. He's always looking for work, like his hands in the run and the pass game. Also he gets out his stance quickly to attack defenders. He has a really good blend of size, power, and athleticism. In pass pro, his head can get over his feet at times. Against the twitchy defensive lineman can potentially beat him. But he comes from that good pipeline, man. That Boston College pipeline. Zion Johnson, Chris Lindstrom. So he has that going for them. They coach well over there at Boston College. I look at him as a guard. I think he played guard his entire career over there, man. So he'd be a guard at the next level.
Yeah, I the mahogany eval is interesting, right? Because of what you said regarding his footwork, and when you have a player that big, you can fall into some bad habits of just leveraging your power or leveraging your physicality, whereas instead of really working on your technique. So that's actually a really significant feather in his cap as far as I'm concerned as it relates to his evaluation. I like to see players progress and understanding that, yeah, I'm probably bigger and stronger than a lot of the guys that I face. But as I move into the next level where, just being bigger and stronger isn't necessarily going to get the job done, making those incremental steps in terms of improving things like your footwork is very significant. So I'm encouraged by what I saw in 2023 from Christian Mahogany. Interior offensive lineman number 6, you want to get back in there?
No. And I think he dropped weight too to help with that footwork. Because I had him at like 340 at one point. Correct me if I'm wrong, but at the combine he has weighed in at 314. So I think he knows what he needs to get better at, and he's working on getting better at that agility, that footwork in his game.
All right. Let's see. I think we got a bit of a snafu here. This should be Cooper Beebe right here. So Headley, give me your thoughts on Cooper Beebe.
Cooper Beebe played all over the Kansas State offensive line. They played him tackle, guard. Said he could play anywhere, man. But not that he could play anywhere. They played him everywhere. But at the next level, he's a guard through and through. He was a all Big 12 left tackle in 2021. So I guess he has that versatility. He's been consistent his entire collegiate career. To me, he's a phone boot type pass protector. He does really well protecting his quarterback. I think, what he does in the run game is impressive also because he's physical, like you said, in that power scheme. But he's a really good pass protector as well, man. You're not really going through him or really around him. I like what he does is pulling. They ask him to pull a lot, either to the left or right, kind of creating momentum to kind of clear lanes. He will struggle against the quick twitch pass rushers. Now there's a couple of guys that we're naming. I think it's the third guy I said that kind of struggles with the twitchier pass rushers, but that anchor and base holds up. You see him against some power defensive tackles, and they just can't push him back, man. He just that power, that anchor, that base, really impressive here with Cooper Beebe. I think, like I said, excels in pass protection. Has that wide base. I think he has underrated footwork in a phone booth. You know what I'm saying? He's not one of those athletic guys like you want in a zone scheme, but very underrated in a phone booth, man. You don't want him too much space to operate, but he can pull, like I said, they asked him to pull a lot. Lateral quickness and athleticism outside the phone booth. Now, that's where it's a concern for Cooper Beebe. And like I said, he offered versatility at Kansas State, but he's a guard, man. I think he's one of those plug and play guys in a power gap scheme at the next level.
And as Drew mentioned, right, that's going to limit some of his potential landing spots, perhaps drive down his draft value to a certain degree. But I think among these guys, we've identified a lot of guys that we think can be eventual starters, a year or 2 years, and now we're talking about guys we think we could drop in, given the right scheme, drop in and contribute immediately here as part of your starting five. And again, I think there's a bit of a shift. I believe there's a bit of a shift where we're going to see more and more gap principles. Maybe the team is a outside zone, inside zone type of approach, right, in terms of their running game per se. But they'll add additional elements of the gap scheme because this NFL teams, NFL defenses, modern defenses just haven't seen it. They're not prepared for it. They're not preparing for it week in and week out. So I expect to see a little bit more smattering of that, a larger proliferation of gap schemes moving forward. It's all very cyclical. Let's jump to interior O lineman number 5 because, like I said, think we had a little bit of a snafu there. Give Drew an opportunity to speak about Christian Mahogany.
Mahogany. Every time I hear the word mahogany, I don't know if y'all remember. So the Martin.
Yeah.
Was this at the DMV? Martin was trying to get his license. Had the one dude there talking about he's so almondy. And I hear mahogany. That's
Hey man, hey, you got correlated, bro.
Bro, I got to go back and play the episode, bro.
It's you know what's funny is that I know exactly what Drew's talking about, bro, but I just don't get the correlation, bro.
I don't know how his brain works.
I know exactly what he's talking about, but I would have never made that connection.
That episode is ridiculous.
Had angry man out there at the DMV.
Bro, wow, bro. That's an episode. That's a couple of that's a good episode. But Christian Mahogany, I got big, wide, physical, aggressive, good combo for a guard, right? Has some grizzle to him, no nonsense, looking to bury folks. He's an attacker, both run and pass. Normally doesn't wait for his guy. His strongest quality is his ability to recover when making a mistake, getting beat, and able to recover. I look at that a lot with offensive linemen, especially when you are aggressive, right? Because that can cause you some issues, as we talked about earlier. But he was able to recover. I know Headley was talking about in terms of him dropping some weight. That should aid in his ability to move his feet a little bit better, because I think he does struggle with that at times. But if he dropped that weight, as he said, 340, now he's sitting at 314. I mean, let's go, man. I got him as a plug and play player immediately. Obviously, in the top 5, so that is the case. But yeah man, I like Chris Mahogany a lot, bro.
Absolutely. Headley, Dominic Pooney enters your top 5 here. Drew, you actually have him as your 6th ranked interior offensive lineman.
I do.
Go ahead, Headley.
Yeah, he's really impressive, man. This is your guy, Juice, because you the one that was banging the drum at the Senior Bowl for Dominic Pooney, and I had to go watch the tape, and it was impressive. He played left tackle for Kansas in 2023, but that transition to the inside, there's a couple guys now that we're saying that once they went, Isaiah Adams is another one. They played tackle last season, but when they transition inside, they look like a totally different player. I actually think Pooney is a better tackle than Adams. So I think he has 5 position versatility. Pooney, he plays guard, he can play center, tackle. I think him and Graham Barton are the 2 guys that could offer that 5 position versatility, which is rare to have. But Pooney has that. He has nice movement ability to climb and locate at a second level. He gets out his stance quickly and in the right position in the passing game. Plays through the whistle with nastiness. So not only is he nimble on his feet, nice with his hands, he also has that nastiness that you like from your offensive lineman. I think he uses his hands well to lock into defenders. He just got to watch it. It's a little bit too wide sometimes. So, he just got to clean that up, get inside the pads. But once he's inside the pads, man, he locks into defenders, has very strong hands. I like his hands and feet working together in the pass and run game. It works really well in unison. The mirror and matchability with him is pretty good. Very fluid. He's very fluid doing that. I think he's advanced in the passing game. He does well in the run game also, but in this passing league, I think teams will covet him because I think his pass protection is pretty advanced. I think he's a plug-and-play day 2 starter. I like him in the scheme where he can move and get into space. So, I think Pooney is a guy that's like rising. He's rising up my board. I think NFL teams should see him the same way, especially after what he did at the Senior Bowl. Before the Senior Bowl, he might have been like a day 3 guy. I wouldn't be surprised if he goes round 2 right now. So, yeah, I really like Pooney a lot. I got to check the age on Pooney, though, because sometimes the age kind of bring him down the board a little bit. But if he checks that box, man, I think he's a round 2 guy.
Yeah, he's a little bit older rookie.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
He's 24. He's 24. Yeah. But I think the position flexibility will help. And again, he's another one of these guys that I think is ready to go right at the guard position. And you mentioned balance and this being synced up over aggressiveness, this, that, and the other. You can see the tackle in him play at the guard position. So he has the requisite girth, physicality to hold up in the interior, but he's a little bit lighter on his feet than some of these other guys that we've mentioned thus far. Your thoughts on Pooney, Drew?
Yeah, Pooney. He's a bit of an oddity to me. I have here in my notes. For me, I see him as a center first, a tackle second, and a guard third.
That's interesting.
He has good feet, top 3 in the class for me. Extremely
Very good
aware.
Yep.
Yeah, and I was down on him at the Senior Bowl. Always the first day. I gotta chill. There's certain positions where I'm like, nah, man, I need to see it now. But he proved himself in the one-on-one, not the one-on-ones. He was okay in the one-on-ones, but in the team, he kind of reminds me a little bit of your guy last year, the guy with the 2 last names, Curtis McClendon or McClendon Curtis.
McClendon Curtis.
In terms of, didn't showcase the skills that I wanted to see in the one-on-ones, right? I think Pooney held up nicely, but in terms of the 11-on-11, when things are just a little bit different, right? That's kind of, I think, where he shined for me. So it's kind of that same thing. Extremely aware, not going to put any games past him. He's a guy who's gonna see what's coming before it comes. Find the free guy. He's a guy who he'll pass one guy off to the next guy. I think he can play in space, both on the edge and at the second level. But I think he does lack some power and grip strength inside. That I think can get him in trouble. And he'll slide and slip off of blocks. So I think we got to work on getting his hands right, so he can use his strength. But I think once you do, especially at center, but once you do that, I think you got a star in the making and dominate.
So, Drew, I'd like to expand on what you first said initially there in terms of you think he's a better center than tackle.
Pivot.
Gotcha. You wanna put those feet to good use.
Correct.
Right?
Yes,
not necessarily that he doesn't necessarily project as a guard in your eyes, but because of those movement skills, you want to ask him to do those things more frequently. I got you. Understood. All right, moving right along. The 4th ranked interior offensive lineman, you are in agreement here. It is Christian Haynes out of UConn, and we'll start with you, Headley.
Yeah, big fan of Christian Haynes. From early in the season, he didn't get much, big time games, but the games that he played, man, he was very impressive. Moves very well. He fires off the ball. Also has good anchor. He could take on a bull rush in the pass game. I think he's good in the pass and the run game. He kind of engulfs second level defenders. He gets out there, he locates those guys, and he can move those guys out the way. Those 5-yard runs turn into 20+ yard runs with Christian Haynes out there. And he got that bully to him, man. I see him driving defenders to the ground, playing through the whistle. So I like all of that about Christian Haynes. I think he also has good awareness, getting one and getting to the second pass rusher. I spoke about that with a guy earlier where I think it was Norstad from Penn State, where sometimes the awareness and the eye discipline, he doesn't see that second guy coming. Well, Christian Haynes has that, man. High IQ player, 4-year starter, lots of experience. And he just does a really good job getting into the right angle in the run game to kind of cut off defenders. So a lot of positives. The negatives that I did see with Christian Haynes, though, sometimes he'll lose his balance when he goes laterally sometimes. Also, he's a better run blocker right now. He has some good pass blocking reps also, but right now to me, he's more of an advanced run blocker. I think foot quickness and lunging and pass sets can improve. Also, from a technical standpoint, I think sometimes his hands are too low, but I guess that's what we just got to expect now with these college offensive linemen. They're coaching it up. So I might just have to take that out my notes now because they're all starting that way. But, I don't like to see it, but, that's how they're being coached up. And sometimes he'll dip his head and also hand placement, man, like I said earlier. But, yeah, he's a guy that, I really like a lot. I think he's a plug-and-play guy, round 2 prospect.
Go ahead, Drew. Your thoughts on Haynes?
Yeah, I really like Haynes a lot. I got him here. Athletic, drops his anchor quick, fast, and in a hurry. Hands work in tandem with his feet. Calculated control, aggression. I think Christian Haynes need to get Mahogany Mahogany. Who else I got? McCormick and Cooper Beebe in the class with me, and Cedric Van Pran. All them boys in the class saying, man, you got to control this aggression, man, because when you control it, good things happen. Watching this tape, man. I think how do I want to say this? Sometimes I'm just gonna say it. There were times when he looked like a crash test though. Just when he's pulling, or he's working to the second level, or working to the third level, or screen pass, whatever it is, like he will run up and just throw his body at a guy. And I don't know if that's what they're teaching or if that's just him just, I don't know what that is, but I don't need, my starting interior player being the crash tester. I need you to keep your feet, and I need you to latch on. I need you to, use that athleticism that you have, man, to get on the guys and push guys back, man. But Christian Haynes, man, and if I'm not mistaken, he was also at the Senior Bowl, and I'm trying to think who he roomed with. He said, "That's my guy."
Tyler Guyton.
It was Guyton.
That's Tyler Guyton.
Yes, that was his guy. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. So which kind of surprised me because them boys is completely different schools, pretty far away from each other. But yeah.
All right, keep it going here. You have the next two players here flip flop, so we're gonna move right along to your second ranked interior offensive line. I'm gonna give both of you an opportunity to speak about each player. Start with you, Headley, on Graham Barton.
Graham Barton. This is my second ranked interior offensive lineman. Played tackle at Duke, but projects to go inside. This might be, I think he's the second best center. I think him and JPJ, I think those two guys are the two best centers in the class. He's feisty, gritty. He's always looking to hit someone, man. That's what I like about Graham Barton the most. When he gets jarred back on the initial power, he has the ability to recover and stay in front of defenders. So he could reshuffle his feet, reshuffle his hands, even if a stronger bull rush guy comes at him. So he has very strong secondary anchor. But I think his strength, could improve in the passing game. And as a tackle, you see him overset sometimes and get beat inside. So moving inside to either center or guard, I think would do him a lot better. Just less space. Those edge rushers on the outside could kind of, beat him with agility. But he's very nasty to the whistle. I think he's better in the run game, charging defenders, opening up lanes. He will lose his speed at times. Sometimes he overextends. He's a block down beast, man. He comes down off the snap, blocking down. He can get to the second level. He has to watch his hand placement. I think hand placement is something he needs to watch out for. He'll do the bear hug sometimes on the outside. But it's crazy.
You can hide
because,
it. You can hide it in the interior, though.
That's what I was about to say. I was about to say because my notes is really on him playing tackle. So the notes might not sound endearing to him, but like you said, a lot of these things that he had issues with at tackle, you move him inside now, and it's less of a problem. He could just get off and use his physicality, use his power, use his nastiness on the interior. Because he's a run game bully. You see him pull clean linebackers at the second level. He relishes it. He relishes the big hit. I like how he moves going outside or inside. But I said his hands need to improve. It's too low, too wide at times for those rushers. But nasty grit, plays great in the run game. And the game against Clemson, I thought he did really well in that Clemson matchup this season. So Graham Barton is a guy that's going to be plug and play. I think he's going to be a center. I think he's going to be a center at the next level. And they say he might go first round. I think he's going to go before Frazier. But JPJ is still my guy at the top. But there's some people saying he might go even before JPJ because of that versatility. So we'll see on Graham Barton.
Drew, I want to hear your thoughts on Barton before we start discussing Frazier.
Oh yeah, got you here. Barton, I got easy mover. First to make contact at the point of attack, latches and sticks, controls defenders consistently when he latches on, excuse me. Nasty finisher, quick eyes, so you're not gonna play games with him up front. Works from guy to guy, passes guys off cleanly. Normally makes quick work of all comers if everything matches up. I mean, the reps and quick, you blink, it's over, it's done. I was wondering why he can't play tackle, because when I watched him play tackle, he routinely shut guys down. But then, as Headley talked about, the bear hug came out. He was looking like Yogi out, right? Reaches and lunges at times. To me, so long and quick guys are going to get him consistent. So you can't have him out there playing tackle. So, but I don't think anybody sees him like that. I guess in a pinch you could, but yeah, it's either going to be guard or because he's an easy move out there to tackle. I mean, that would make sense for me for him to get inside and move that easily inside.
Yeah, it's kind of a red dot type of situation when he's out in space, man. You know, you mentioned a couple of guys where, you know, they have the requisite athleticism to get out to the second level, even the third level downfield, but they're overrunning things. There's an over aggressiveness. They're not necessarily putting themselves in position in order to sustain a block. And Barton really doesn't have that issue. I rarely saw that pop up as an issue with him. Zach Frazier, Drew, we'll go right back to you. You have him as your second ranked interior offensive lineman. I'll hear your thoughts, and then Headley, you'll get in there on Zach Frazier as well. Mute.
I want to mute that quick, bro.
Quick trigger.
I got quick trigger, man. Quick eyes, and I talk about guys playing patty cake, and this isn't a guy that's playing patty cake. This is a boxer. Look at the punch, jab and move, and it's
wrestling
smooth.
Background.
Yes.
Yeah.
You can see it immediately, bro. Every single snap, man. And it always looks the same. He looks calm, cool, collected, and comfortable playing center. Man. Nice control once he latches on, able to control guys. I watch him routinely where he's got a control of a guy and he's kind of holding him up, and then here comes a blitz, or here comes a free guy, or maybe the guy next to him misses his guy, and he's able to push his guy into that guy to slow him down to kind of have his guy reset and get a hold of that guy, that free rusher, whoever it was that was coming. So he kind of makes up for mistakes on the interior. High effort, high energy, leverage is clean and consistent, man. I don't know how you watch his tape and don't love him, man. And the wrestling just comes out immediately. The last guy that did the wrestling thing was your boy from Iowa, now with the Baltimore Ravens. And I loved him coming out.
Headley?
Yeah, Zach Frazier. Just watching the tape, he doesn't seem like the strongest or quickest, but I love how he takes those great angles to shield off defenders, opening up lanes for his back. I think the strength and anchor could kind of improve against those big bullies up front, those big boys. And then the twitchier, the linebackers, when they line up in that A and B gap, I think he could get beat sometimes with quickness. So his strength and quickness doesn't really pop out on tape, but he does a really good job because he has a high IQ. He knows where defenders are coming. Even if his foot speed doesn't allow him to get there, he'll still kind of get there because he's just 1 or 2 steps ahead of the defenders. He's tough. He's hard-nosed. He does what it takes. He does anything that it takes. He has that wrestling background. So he's just grimy, man. He's just real grimy football player. He moves well in the phone booth. You see him pulling from like the center position all the way to the edge. Play to the whistle, that bully mentality. And when he's moving forward from snap, he does a good job of getting into and under defenders to move them. I like how he uses his hands. He's always under control. Drew spoke about that. Like, this guy's always under control. And he's a 4-time wrestler, and it shows on tape because the angles, the leverage, and the awareness. That's what he has more than anything, more than the physical parts of his game or the quick parts or the strength parts. Is angles, leverage, and awareness with Zach Frazier. 4-year starter. I think he could play in any scheme because of those attributes, that awareness and those angles. I think he could be a zone guy or a gap guy at the next level. So he's very versatile in that nature. So yeah, he's a guy like he jumps off the screen like, okay, he might not have the strongest anchor, he might not be the quickest guy, but with everything in totality, man, he's a really good football player. So Zach Frazier is my interior offensive line 3.
And I want to be clear. Do you view him as a guy that has multi-position, can play any of the interior offensive line positions, or is he a center in your minds?
I'm sure he could play guard, but I love him at center. That's
Okay.
where I would want him at the next level.
What about you?
Yeah,
Drew?
I think you drop him down a couple of notches if you're saying he's going to play guard. But
Okay.
center, he's a 10, and if you're dropping him to guard, he might drop to like a 8, 7.8, something like that.
Okay, gotcha.
Maybe in a pinch, throw him in there, but otherwise.
All right. And your top interior offensive lineman, as you guys have mentioned, the law firm, Jackson Powers Johnson here, Headley. Your thoughts on him, and what are your thoughts about him potentially sliding out of the first round?
I don't get that at all. Like I'm trying to figure it out myself. Like, why, because after the Senior Bowl, everyone was like, oh, top 20 pick. He's a beast. And nothing has happened after the Senior Bowl to say that, oh, now he might drop out of the first round.
Interviews, maybe? Interviews?
Maybe the
Smoke
interviews.
screen?
Smoke screen, interviews.
Yeah.
Maybe he didn't impress there. I'm not sure. I don't have the intel for that. But, on the field, I think he was one of the easier evaluations that I had. To me, he's a plug-and-play guy. And he's 334 pounds. So he moves very, very well at that size, at 334 pounds. I think he could play center or guard at the next level. I think he has that versatility along the interior. Like I said, he moves very well to the second level to locate blocks and open up lanes in that Oregon scheme. Very instinctive in the pass protection game. He likes to find work. I love my offensive linemen. Some guys just sit around there and say, hey, nobody's over here, so I'm not blocking anybody. But he's a guy, okay, you're engaged with one of my teammates. I'm going to come down there and I'm going to throw you into the ground. So I do love that nastiness about JPJ. Very nice anchor and base for power rushers. So he holds up really well against power. He can move, turn guys, like I say, throw them to the ground. And to me, he's a plug and play. He should be a round one guy. And, interior offensive linemen are getting paid nowadays, man. Like, you got to protect these quarterbacks up the middle. That's the fastest way to the quarterback. And a lot of these quarterbacks are not as big as they used to be back in the day. So, guys like Kyler Murray, Bryce Young, those shorter Baker Mayfield, those shorter guys, they need a guy like JPJ to kind of clear things out so they can see down the field. So to me, he's a top 20 guy. So if he goes after top 20, that's a steal for whichever team that drafts him.
Go ahead, Drew.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's going on in terms of. I think it's one. I think it's draft fatigue, but I think it's also one of those things where this happens every year when we talk about a particular player who either rises all the way up the draft board and is now the number 1, number 2 position. The later the draft goes, the more that it reaches a certain point where he's kind of leveled off in terms of the talking for that guy, and then now we have to bring him down. And I think Headley had talked about it earlier in terms of if he's not the guy who goes first because he's not as versatile in terms of playing all 5 positions. I understand it, but if you need a center or a guard, I don't know how you don't select him. Period. His movement ability is off the charts, and Headley talked about in terms of his size, his aggression. Like, he is the entire package.
He's a dancing bear, bro. As an interior offensive lineman, he's a dancing bear. Yeah.
He has the aggression that you want. He has the hands, the physicality. You can see him out there directing traffic prior to the play. He's great movement, great feet. He's strong. He plays after plays during the whistle, after the whistle. He's gonna let you know he's here every single play. And he can play in any scheme. So I don't understand what it is that I think it's a bunch of BS, to be really honest with you. I think he's going first round unless a bunch of players fall, and unless there's a bunch of people drafting like New England does. There's no way he falls out of it. I'm sorry, the old boy, Belichick. I don't see a scenario where he falls out. I can't see it. He's too good of a player. Blue chipper.
Yeah. The way he shut down the Michael Hall Tasmanian Devil spin, interior spin, I was like, man, he not supposed to be moving like that. At that size, he not supposed to be moving like that. So yeah, that was kind of okay. I get it now. I get what all of the hype is, because I'll be honest with you, I was a little slower to anointing him top interior offensive lineman, right? I knew he was up there, top 2, top 3. I was viewing him purely as a center, but then watching those reps live and watching him play both center and guard, I was like, okay, now it makes sense. With the push I needed, I got it. So yeah, I'm with you here. Unanimous top interior offensive lineman. I'm a little mad at y'all for not getting my guy Javian Cohen in here, but these are your rankings. So
you talking that guy up,
you,
bro. You talking that guy up.
No, nobody cares about you, bro. And real quick, in terms of when you have a guy who plays at a heavier weight normal than the that's normal for the position, right? You talk about, okay, well has he been injured, right? Because you know how I feel about guys who are always injured. They probably shouldn't be playing at the weight that they're playing at, because they're moving at a pace and a speed that their body can't handle. But as far as I know, I mean, maybe I'm wrong. Somebody give me in the comment section. There have been no injuries, and if they've been, it's been the normal minor injuries that you get going through a football season.
Sure.
Not anything that's season-ending or something that's been nagging with him, right? So, hey man, it's all go here. Let's not hold back. Let's just get it done. Let's grab this guy, because this is the type of player that changes your entire offensive line. Assuming that you have the requisite pieces around, right? Period. I'm telling you, getting a Ryan Jensen. Not that everybody knows about Ryan Jensen, but if I'm telling you getting a Ryan Jensen, what is that? You know what I'm saying? If I'm telling you getting a Quentin Nelson in terms of your offensive line, you know what I'm saying? And I think that's what he is. He's one of those guys.
All right. A couple questions here. Dana wanted some input on what game she should watch for JPJ. She actually likes to Barton's balance a little bit more than Powers Johnson. What do you recommend there?
Yeah. The Washington games are good, but I think the Utah tape for JPJ.
It's probably the best.
That tape was impressive. As far as Barton, more balanced. I think they both have a tendency to sometimes overextend on film. That lean that you're talking about, Dana. But I like JPJ hands better. I think his hands are usually in the correct place more than Barton is. So that's why I have him a little higher. Other question we have here was the nasty streak. Which group is the nasty streak? I think JPJ has it. I think Barton has it. And then Christian Haynes. I think Christian Haynes is really nasty as well. And if you want to go down a little later, it's Mason McCormick. Was it North Dakota State? Mason McCormick?
South
Dakota State.
Rabbits.
South Dakota State.
All right. Concussion history in the medicals.
Dana, you had to do it. Okay. Damn, Dana.
You found it. Dana found it, bro. Dana dig it.
Bro, you had to.
That's probably what it is.
I mean, listen, I'll never object to the medicals. That's how you see it. That's what it says.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. You can't overstate head injuries. Can't overstate that. Little soft tissue there at the Senior Bowl as well. He was so good though. He should have just shut it down anyway after that first day.
He probably was going to,
but he's not. But you know what? I disagree. I think he's wired a little differently. Bro. I really do. Yeah, I think so. He might have been advised not to, but I think otherwise, in a vacuum, he would have kept going for sure. All right, that covers Headley and Drew's top 15 interior offensive linemen for the 2024 NFL Draft. Let's take a bit of an intermission here. It's not an intermission, but we're gonna move away from the rankings, and I want to jump into a mock draft here. Break up the monotony. It's been a while since we have collectively done a mock draft. Actually was thinking about our approach to this, and what we actually the format we haven't done in a while is a head-to-head. We haven't done a head-to-head in a while, so I'm going to put you both on the spot here. Headley, why don't you draft for the NFC teams, and Drew, you'll draft for the AFC teams, and we'll probably do this once again next week here and flip it. So Let's get this mock
How
underway,
much
man.
rounds? How much rounds we going?
2 rounds. Just
2
gonna go
rounds.
2 rounds deep
All right,
here.
it's the 2 rounds. Tell a friend
Yeah.
to tell a friend. We mocking, man.
There we
Let's
go.
get some more people in here.
There we go. All right. Right here at the top, first overall pick, Headley. I mean, I know who
Caleb.
it is. Caleb.
Caleb.
All right. Easy money.
Hey,
Yeah.
hey,
No
depth chart,
explanation needed.
no research, bro.
No depth chart, no research.
It's all up here. It's all up
All
here.
right. What you got going here with the second overall pick, Headley?
There's been a lot of talk today on the timeline about what's Washington's doing, inviting all the quarterbacks. They say Jaden Daniels' agent said he didn't like that. They saying that's cap. We don't know what's going on right now. But for me, I think they should pick Jaden Daniels over Drake May. So I'm sticking with that, and I'm going Jaden Daniels here to Washington.
All right, that's QB2 for Headley. New England, Drew. What do you do here?
Yeah, we're gonna be different, man. We're gonna foil and upset D Kid, and we're going
Michael Penix Jr.
Lock it in, bro.
Lock it in. All right, the Cardinals are on the clock here. 4th overall pick, Headley.
All right. But David said McCarthy going to the Commanders. Yeah, I mean, I heard some talks about JJ too, on number 2 as well. Hey, that guy's moving up. He's moving up.
I suppose.
We're going to do the right thing here. We're going to stay pat, and we're going to get my wide receiver 1, Marvin Harrison Jr., to help Kyler Murray out.
You said it like you were actually going out on a limb.
No.
Saying that your wide receiver. That's how you said it, bro.
Yeah.
My receiver.
I did it for the people, man. Give them a little intrigue.
Okay.
We pod him, bro. You gotta know how to pod.
Drew, you're up next. 5th overall with the Chargers.
Yeah, we're gonna do the Chargers something sexy, man. We're going Malik Neighbors, right?
Yeah. That's the way I see it. That's the way I see it playing out. I certainly understand if they opt for Roma Dunze or maybe even trade down.
Right.
But yeah, I'm trying to get the neighbors in the fold here. Got D-Kit's Giants on the clock here, Headley.
Yeah, a lot of talk about Daniel Jones making all this money and they got to keep him. But I'm going to get a quarterback of the future, and I'm going to go get Drake May here with Brian Dable. A lot of similarities, they say, to Josh Allen, and Dable was over there with Josh Allen. So I think it makes sense.
All right. Drew, Tennessee.
Yeah,
only 2 rounds here, so you don't have to worry about trying to get some additional draft capital. You can just do your thing here, man.
Yeah, I want to go Roma Dunze, but we're going to go offensive tackle.
Okay.
Olu
fashion. Perhaps a little foreshadowing to your rankings here. All right, we'll keep an eye.
Lay it down.
We'll keep an eye out. We'll jump into your top 15 offensive tackle rankings after this mock draft. So fashion to the Titans. Headley, you got your pick of the litter, man. You can get Rome. You can go get McCarthy. Let him sit behind Kirk. You get that edge.
We can do. We doing trade downs because I like to trade down
because all of these players on the board.
Yeah, but we're not going to do no trade downs right now. But if I would trade down with maybe Minnesota for that quarterback, they probably like JJ McCarthy right there. But we're going to stay pat and we're going to go Roma Dunze. Let's put him in that offense with Drake London, Kyle Pitts. I know we got Mooney and Rondell Moore, but those guys were in free agency for a reason now. They weren't really lighting things up over there. So we're going to get Roma Dunze next to Drake London.
All right. So, I mean, Headley's been banging the drum for edge rusher most of this offseason, but that seems to be the player. That Odunze seems to be the player where you're like, you know what? We're going back to the offensive side of the ball, despite what we've done to this point in free agency. If the Falcons have an opportunity to select Odunze, that's the direction you want to go in. And it's hard to argue with it, right? It really is. Okay. You're back on the clock here, Headley, with the Bears. Their second top 10 pick here. Caleb, first overall. You follow that up with who?
Man, it'll be nice to get him another weapon. But I did like the Keenan Allen pickup for the Bears to go with DJ Moore. So I'm going to go on the defensive side of the football, and I'm going to go get our edge rusher number 1, Latu from UCLA. Everyone's talking about the medicals, but he's the best pass rusher in this class.
Yes, top defensive player as far as I'm concerned. I think our boards will bear that out as well. I know Baldy got on board here with that as well. He a lot of people, I shouldn't say a lot of people, as of late, I've heard a couple different things this week saying that, you know, certain people haven't been more certain that he's going to have an instant impact among edge rushers in quite some time, right? We're talking not to the same degree, but with a certain level of certainty, despite the fact that he has the history from a medical's perspective. The Jets here, Drew.
Yeah, I'm
What do you do?
I'm gonna go offensive tackle.
Okay.
I wanted to go Brock Bowers. I think we did that before, so I'm gonna be a little bit different.
Okay, I'm not mad at it.
And let me get Joe.
All right, meat and potatoes here. And I think the reasoning, which is sound, is that, you know, you have guys up front that have struggled to stay healthy. Some guys getting closer to the end of their careers, and it's an older team built to win now. But what do you do if you don't have, you know, some of these guys who've struggled to stay healthy don't stay healthy? You understand what I'm saying? So I certainly understand. I don't know that Alt will be available at 10, but certainly if he is, you might have to abort, you know, plan A and opt for a Joe Alt here. So certainly understand it. Minnesota on the clock, Headley.
Yeah, so Minnesota, they're probably going to have to trade up to get the quarterback that they covet. But in this mock, we didn't do any trades, and the quarterback fell to them anyways. The pick is J.J. McCarthy. We could put him in that system with those receivers, with that offensive line, and we could potentially sit him for a while too with Sam Darnold now in the fold. So, yeah, I like him over there in Minnesota. You laughing at Sam Darnold?
I get it. I get it. We don't necessarily want to rush McCarthy onto the field, but I think we did talk about this being one of the few landing spots I think you might be able to get away with that with him, right? Considering what they already have in place on the offensive side of the ball, including Aaron Jones. We really haven't talked about Aaron Jones as part of the pantheon with respect to the infrastructure the Vikings have offensively, but Aaron Jones still toting that pill, man, at a high level. So being able to take the pressure off of McCarthy as he gets his sea legs underneath him, I think is important. That's significant. Denver on the clock here, Drew.
Bro, I hate drafting for Denver. I wanted to stem the Packers. I hate drafting for them, right? For Denver, you know, took McCarthy off the board. That's a spot I'm going to trade it up. Go to quarterbacks real quick. It's just for Knicks. All right. So let's go over to the cornerback position. Let's take the number one corner. Take Quinyon Mitchell.
Okay.
Quinyon.
Okay. All right. Leaning physical tools there over Terrion. Gotcha. The Raiders on the clock. You're going to stay with the AFC West, Drew.
Yeah, I see that there. It's another team I like drafting for, but I'm here now. I got no choice. Under my head. Go to tackle.
They there. Tackles are there.
Damn. Dude. So you have Colton Miller out there at the left tackle. I need a right tackle. So I picked J.C. Latham or Denise Swaga. I don't necessarily want to give away my rankings, right? Or am I giving away my rankings? Well, you know what? I'm going to go with this. See if I do it, I'm giving. You know what? It don't matter. Let me get J.C. Latham.
Oh, okay. All right. A little bit of a curveball there with Fuaga and Fautanu on the board based on what we've done historically. But there are folks who have Latham as like the third ranked tackle, though. It's not completely out of the question. The Saints here, Headley.
Yeah, I'm glad you needed a right tackle because the Saints need a left tackle. And I'm going to go get Troy Fautanu from Washington to protect that left side.
Made it easy for you, man. I'm out here.
Yeah, I was hoping you didn't get him. I was like, I had to make a decision. Like, who could play left tackle?
Yeah,
I
at that
really,
point, now you might be having to pivot to Mims or Guyton. I mean, obviously, it's a little early in our minds for those players, but to your point, and those guys, have played right tackle predominantly. It's just kind of projecting them to the left tackle position.
all right,
Indy,
Colts, I really, really, really want to go Tyrion Arnold, but I'm going to go Nate Wiggins here simply because they play a lot of zone. I think that's his home is his zone scheme. Not that he can't play man. I think he can play
it's
man,
Gus
but
Bradley. Gus
yeah,
Bradley,
yeah,
and you think that the fit makes a lot of sense. I think you can actually go Cooper DeJean there as well,
as well.
right?
Yeah,
If you're
that's it.
if you're inclined to get a guy that really suits. Not to say that Tyrion can't do it. Tyrion can do it all, right? He can
Yes.
do it
I
all.
just don't want to waste his talent by not using all of it. Right? Kind of using one portion of it and leaving the other portion just chilling, right? So yeah, it's not easy.
All right, Headley, what do we do for Mr. C. Prasky's Seattle Seahawks right here?
I got a guy in mind, but I want to see what Mr. C thinking, man. What you thinking, Mr. C? I got a guy in mind. Hopefully, we line up on this. Let me tell you who I was thinking, man. I was going JPJ. We just talked about. I think he's the top 20 pick. I think he'll be nice on the interior right there. So Mr. C taking a
And
little.
he definitely shores it up. He definitely
Yeah,
shores it up. I think when you think about the entire expanse of the draft and the depth at the interior offensive line, considering some of the question marks they have on the defensive side of the ball, under those circumstances, you might go in a different direction. I think Seattle should consider trading down as well.
yeah, right there. Let me see. Let me see the board. Let me see all. Oh, we lost juice. Let me see all. So you got Dallas Turner there. They could use another pass rusher, most definitely. I think Dallas Turner will fit for them. Uh, Arnold corner. They just drafted a corner, what, top 5 last year? So I don't know if they're going to double down there. Yeah, if it's not JPJ, it would be one of these edge rushers. There goes Mr. C. He said Verse or Johnny Newton for me in this scenario. All right, let's do it then, man. Let's go
That's
get Jared Verse. Let's go get Jared Verse for these boys, man. I like Verse a lot.
you still there? I didn't pull up another one laid down. You still there? Okay, all right. What you like together over there?
Boy, in the darkness.
It man. Darkness. The Jaguars on me now. Gotta go corner or receiver. Let me check the receivers real quick. Just want to see. The same. Brian Thomas is on the board. Check them corners real quick. Just to see. No, yeah, what are we doing? It's Aaron Arnold, man. Okay.
Yeah, that's an easy one right there. Easy one. Versus Seattle is intriguing. I don't hate it. I don't hate it. Mr. Seabrass, he got Zach Center. He got Zach Center in his back
That's
pocket.
what we want.
You know what I mean? Cincinnati, Drew.
All right, go to my offensive tackles. Let me just make sure we're not.
I mean, the responsible thing would be get Fuaga, but like Brock Bowers is sliding, bro. He's sliding.
Is trying to think where he would go. He would probably keep sliding. Maybe the Rams might pick up there.
Maybe. They could use the Dallas Turner though.
We're gonna be responsible.
Okay.
We're gonna be responsible.
Right.
And what they need a Bengals need a what, right tackle? I'm trying to think of the old line right now.
Yeah, I think they need guard and right tackle. They got Trent Brown on a 1-year deal. And right tackle has been an eyesore for a while.
All right, so let's do Fuaga, because if it don't work out, we can slide him in the guard. Right. So
okay, fair enough.
Yeah,
gotcha. Makes sense. Rams, Headley.
Yeah, we're talking about the Rams, and I'm looking also at Dallas Turner for these guys because I seen an interesting stat on the Rams that their edge rushers, they drop them back in coverage a lot. So they like that versatility on the edge. And I think Dallas Turner works really well in space, maybe more than Latu and Jared Verse, definitely over Jared Verse. So I like him in space. Also seeing some tea leaves about they might go grab a wide receiver, the Rams. So, that'd be interesting as well. But I'm going to do the right thing. We just lost Aaron Donald that gets after the passer. So I'm going to get another guy to get after the passer in Dallas Turner.
All right. That rounds out the first 19 selections here. Drew, you're back on the clock here with Pittsburgh.
City, Pittsburgh. They would have loved the right tackle. Is there one that? Ooh, is there one for me? This is a dangerous game we're playing. But guess what? We're gonna play that game because they've been playing it with the receivers. So we are going to grab Amirius Mims. We're gonna slide. Oh, Broadchard, he'll go on that left side. He's not over there. Let's do it, bro. Amirius Mims.
All right, went back to Georgia. Got your bookends at offensive tackle. Headley, I think I know where you're going here with Miami's pick.
I'm not
Actually,
Miami.
This is true.
Though.
This is true.
Yeah.
My bad. This is true. What
Yeah,
you doing, Drew?
We're going Jonathan Howard Johnson.
Okay.
All
right.
You thought it was going Brock Bowers?
No. Bowers Johnson. I just flashed the Bowers as he slides here. Philadelphia on the clock, Headley.
Oh, let me see. They got Bowers. They don't need Bowers. Man, imagine having Murphy on this defense to go with Jalen Carter, Jordan Day. That would be crazy. You got Zerzan also falling. That's two guys falling right there. But they need a corner. They need a corner really bad. Where's that goes that Cooper Dijon guy? And then you got Kool-Aid there also. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go Cooper Dijon. I like the versatility to play safety, to play corner. I think Eagles need a safety and a corner. So, whichever the coaching staff, however they feel, they could use them. I think they could use them at either positions.
All right, and then me, you went with J.J. McCarthy with the 11th overall pick at 23. And this would be an ideal situation, but we're assuming the Vikings plan on packaging these two picks to move up further to get their quarterback in reality.
Yeah. We're going with the interior pass rusher here. We're going to get after the quarterback on the interior. Got Newton, guy we like. Got Murphy. I'm gonna stick true to the board. I'm gonna go get Zerzan Newton in Minnesota.
I like it. Dallas.
Man, is your boy still on the board? Man, still on the board. Brock Bowers. Where is he going, Drew? Dallas?
I can tell you that.
You're going to Tampa Bay, bro.
Got Jake Ferguson, man. Jake Ferguson.
I like Jake Ferguson.
Yeah,
like
he's doing his thing.
I mean, he not Bowers, but I like Jake Ferguson a lot.
He's not Bowers.
He'll probably end up at Tampa. Right. Matter of fact, Tampa Bay would probably trade up.
Let me see the interior O-line.
Probably traded up already.
Graham Barton is there. Yeah, I like Barton here, man. Let's go get Graham Barton for the Cowboys.
Green Bay.
The Packers. This team, they just drafted 2 tight ends last year. I'm trying to find.
We had this scenario occur, right? When we were doing our 7th-round mock draft for the Packers, and we were like, Brock Bowers won't be there, and here we are once again, with Bowers sitting on the board.
Man, this team, I think they can use a tackle, right? Rasheed Walker at left tackle position.
They could use
you got Tyler Guyton there. I think he could go over to the left side. Zach Frazier on the interior. The cornerback position, that's a position in need also for the Packers as well. Got Kool-Aid to play that sticky man-to-man.
Decisions.
This one's tough. Let me look. Tackle. I'm gonna go get a tackle. The quarterback class is a little deeper. Well, I think tackle class falls off a little bit once you get later on. So, man, my board. You know what my board says? My board says Kingsley Suamatala from BYU. So let's go there.
All right. Kingsley to Green Bay.
You giving away the sauce, bro. What you doing, bro?
My board. I'm sticking to my board, man. Yeah, this is. Let's go get Brock Bowers, man. It's going on too long, bro.
Get that man out of the green room, man. Y'all tripping.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yo, wow.
I blame it on Drew, man.
What?
Bowers is going to an AFC team. He's going to an AFC team in the draft. We all know he's going to the AFC. He's supposed to make one of them picks.
Cardinals on the clock here. Marvin Harrison Jr. with the 4th overall pick.
Yeah, so we got the wide receiver. I like Michael Wilson. Just got to stay healthy. We got to go on the defensive side of the football. Let me see the best defenders on the board. We got Yeah, they can use a defensive lineman. They can use pretty much everything on the defensive side of the football.
Pretty much.
Um, let's go. Let's go get Byron Murphy. Let's go get Byron Murphy. Hold on 1 second. 1 second. Pause.
Oh,
You already did it?
I did
All right,
it.
don't worry. We got
I
another
did it.
pick. We got another
Alright.
pick. They can go get Murphy.
All right, Drew. After a little bit of a hiatus, the board has actually fallen. It's fallen very nicely here to you.
Damn, we can get us a corner. We can get us a receiver. Get the edge, bro. What is Let's look at the edges real quick. I see Chop there. Oh man, this is tough, bro. This is tough. But I'm gonna grab the receiver.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think that's more important for this football team. You gotta supply your quarterback with that receiver, and we're gonna get. I'm gonna stick to my board, man. I'm gonna stick to my board, and I'm gonna get Brian Thomas, man. I'm gonna stick to
I thought it was your brother. I thought your brother came in for a second. That's your boy.
I got a deeper voice, you know.
Yeah, I thought I was your boy.
Lions on the clock here, Headley.
Detroit Lions. They really needed a corner in the worst way, but they got Carlton Davis, Meek Robertson. I like what they did there in free agency. So we're gonna get somebody up front, man. Either a 3-tech or an edge rusher. You got Chop, you got Fitz Jenkins. Chop will be the next. Oh, we got Darius Robinson. Yeah, I can't pass him up, man. Let's go get Darius Robinson from Missouri. This guy should be a first-round guy.
All right, Darius Robinson. And again, I just want to put it out there. I know it's been a bit of a misnomer. We're not talking about a stand-up edge here. We're talking about hand in the ground edge, and then of course can be reduced inside on passing downs as well. He can stay on the edge, but you can move him around the down line. Baltimore.
We got Kool-Aid on the board. Let me just get everywhere ready to start down. Yeah.
Do it.
Get you primed, Jake. Get you primed for it.
We got Adonai Mitchell on the board here.
We do.
So it's pretty much Kool-Aid, Adonai Mitchell. I'd go Lam McConkey there as well. Yeah. That's tough. But we always talk about the corner class as a deeper class than the receiver class. So we'll go back.
Do we though? Do we believe that?
Yeah. Yes.
You think it's deeper?
I think the corner class is deeper.
In the wide receiver class?
Okay.
Yeah, because if we match them up in terms of tiers, if you get a little bit more specific in terms of the tiers, I think the drops get deeper when you talk about the receiver class, right? Versus the corner class, you probably gonna have guys all the way up until like 6th round, bro. That you're gonna be okay. I like that. I'm good with that, right? Versus the receiver class, 6th round. I don't know. I don't know if all the guys gonna be there.
I agree. I agree with the notion that you probably could get a better corner late day 3 than a receiver, but it's just because our grades for the receivers are just so much higher. You understand what I'm saying? Like you got a bunch of receivers in round 1 through 4, right? And then there's a bit of a drop off, right? Whereas you have fewer corners between rounds 1 and 4, but there's a little bit more depth between rounds 5 and 7. That's the way I look at it. I don't necessarily see one position deeper than the other per se. The receiver position, I think it just has higher ceiling players. More of them, let me put it that way.
Okay, I like that. I'll take that. I'll go with that. But no, we still going to add numbers.
All right.
to say, you said all that to say.
Said all that to say we're going to add a 9. All right, San Francisco on the clock, Headley.
Yeah, let me explain myself to you a little bit, Jake, man. The reason I went Kingsley, like Mr. C was saying, the tackles were falling. I think the first round tackles I think it's a fall off after like the first 40 picks with the tackles. And then I like Devontae Wyatt as a 3-tech for you guys. That's why I didn't go Murphy. And then there's some really good corners later in the draft, and that's why I didn't go Kool-Aid. So that's why I went left tackle because of how the board fell. But Let's get to the San Francisco 49ers. They need an offensive lineman as well. I'm gonna go with your boy. I'm gonna go Tyler Guyton. There's some things he need to clean up, but he got a really good ceiling and he's really excellent in the run game. So I think, the 49ers, a running football team, could really use Tyler Guyton on that right side.
All right, I like it. Drew, what do you do here at Kansas City? Kool-Aid time?
Yeah.
Or you going receiving? Oh yeah, Kool-Aid.
Oh no. Kool-Aid on the ball. We go Kool-Aid, bro.
That's the L'Jarius Sneed. I mean, that would be perfect.
This
Perfect situation.
I think they're going to be in a spot to where one of those three, the cornerback, the offensive tackle, wide receiver, someone will be there that they're
sure.
Okay, that's who they're going to select, just because when it's a need is going to meet the board at the same time, whatever position it is. I don't think all three will be there. I think the one will be there.
One will be there by that point. Yeah, I'm with you there. I tend to agree. Kool-Aid to Kansas City. That's the first round here in our 2-round mock draft. Let's get it started here in the second round, Headley. Carolina, it's their first selection. They have another one here at 39th overall.
Yeah, man. It's Operation Help Bryce Young out immediately. So we need a wide receiver here. I'm not going to take any chances. I'm going to go get you know what? I want a guy to stretch the field. I'm going to go Xavier Worthy over a lad. I like what Deontay Johnson and Adam Thielen could do on the inside. Give me a guy to stretch the field with Xavier Worthy for Bryce Young.
All right. Drew, you took Michael Penix third overall. What do you do to follow that up here in the second round, early parts of the second round?
This one's tough because I'm going receiver. I'm going to tell you that right now. It's between Lad, Ricky Pearsall, which in my rankings, I have Ricky, I think 5, Lad 6, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep, that's correct.
Is close. I think he's maybe 2 down. And then I think the Leggett is 1 down from there. So, you got top 15 receivers on the board for me here. I'm just trying to think what would work best for this team. I'm going to go with the Gator, bro.
Stop playing.
Keep it nice.
Go get your guy Pearsall here. All right, Ricky to New England. All right, Heather, you went Marvin Harrison Jr., Byron Murphy with the first 2 selections here for the Cardinals. This is the final selection in our 2-round mock draft. Which direction do you go in?
So, initially on that 27th pick, I was like, man, I should get a tackle because, your boy just left. But they got Jonah Williams now. So I'm guessing Jonah Williams can slide in that left tackle position. So I'm going to go defense again then. I'm going to go grab an edge rusher named Chop Robinson to come off the edge for Arizona.
All right, nice haul here, Dana, for the Cardinals. That takes us to the Commanders. Jaden Daniels, 2nd overall, and you have the 36th as well as the 40th overall selections for Washington.
Yeah, offensive line. We need to protect him. We got to protect Jaden Daniels. So do I go interior or do I go to tackle? I think the tackle is a bigger need right now for these boys. Left tackle. They need a left tackle in the worst way. See, Joel Morgan. He's more of a guard, I guess. I like his tackle tape, but I guess they're moving in with those shorter arms. You got Kieron, you got Patrick Paul. I'm just gonna get Joy Morgan. I'm gonna go get my my higher ranked player, and we're gonna figure it out right there for the Commanders.
All right. Jim Harbaugh's Chargers went with Malik Neighbors in the first round here. Drew, what do you do in the second?
Ooh. Well, we gotta fix the offensive line, the tackle position. We need a corner. I don't want to press though. I
think you still have that center position.
That's I keep forgetting. Your boy retired. So yeah. Go ahead and get that. It's fine. Keep forgetting.
Zach Frazier, this is second ranked interior offensive line.
Yes, lock it in.
All right, Tennessee, Olu Fashionable in the first.
Yeah, we go receiver or edge here. Let's go Lad, bro.
Okay, Lad McConkey. All right, so we're looking at a Nuke Hopkins, Calvin Ridley, Lad McConkey, and then anything you can get out of Traylon Burks at this point. Of course, Hawkins in the last year of his deal, so it could be very much a Ridley Burks McConkey 3-receiver set here. All right. Lad off the board. Headley, you went with Xavier Worthy at the top of the second round. Here's your final pick for the Panthers. I think there's a legitimate chance it happens, Dana. I think Chop has first-round traits, but the lack of production might push him to the early portion of the second round, right? And of course, he's going to be kind of scheme-specific. So I think there's an outside chance that he's available at 35. Wouldn't hold my breath, but I think it's certainly within the realm of possibilities.
Yeah, I think, like I said earlier, Carolina, I think they could use actually somebody in the secondary, but we're trying to get Bryce Young right. So I think his team, them dumbing down.
Yeah, you punting on defense, bro.
That front seven is pretty good. I like the free agent acquisitions they picked up. They lost Burns, but I like the pickup of Wanham, Jadeveon Clowney. I like both of those edge rushers. So, it's a secondary I think Carolina might need some help with, but I'm going to help Bryce Young some more. And I'm going to get him I really want a tight end for these guys, but I don't think a tight end this early. The next guy would be Sanders, but I think that'd be a little too early for Sanders. So I'm going to go get another wide receiver. And I'm going to go get a high upside guy in your boy, XL, Xavier Legette.
XL. Now we cooking. Worthy and XL. Oof. With Deontay out there and anything you get out of Thielen, yeah, man. Yeah. This definitely is about Bryce Young. It's absolutely about Bryce Young here. All right. Commanders back on the clock. Daniels, Morgan, first two selections.
So we got the quarterback. We got the tackle. So the offense, I think the offense is good. You brought in Eckler to go with Brian Robinson. So I think we could go on the defensive side of the football. They lost both of their edge rushers from last season. They brought in Dorrance Armstrong, a player that I like. Dante Fowler, another player I like. And Farrell, I'm not sure what they're going to get out of Cleveland Farrell, but I think we go edge or corner. I think corner is the bigger need. Let's go get a cornerback. And you got Mikey there to play nickel, but they got Quan Martin there, a guy I liked last season. I'm gonna go get a guy that I think could play the outside or the inside. I'm gonna go get Rakestraw. Rakestraw from Missouri. I like the physicality that he plays with. Dan Quinn guy.
I think Cleveland Farrell, what he did most recently in a more of a rotational role. I mean, obviously didn't live up to the billing, right? You know what I'm saying? But what he does in a rotational role, playing more interior snaps, actually works really well with what they want to do. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. They're going to throw a lot of different bodies at you. Of course, you got Payne and Allen still over there. So that rotation is going to be solid, I think, all things considered. Green Bay here, Headley, you went with Kingsley in the first round. You have a pair of second-round selections with the Packers.
Yeah. So for the Packers here, we were talking about corner last time, and we were talking about I like Devontae White, Kenny Clark on the inside, Gary, Preston Smith. The defensive line is pretty good. You got Van Ness. So I think the front's good. In the middle, you got Quay Walker, but we could use your boy. We could use your boy from in the middle of that defense from Texas A&M, Edge Cooper. It's either corner or Edge Cooper. The corner I probably look at here. I like Max Melton to play with his brother. But we got a 58th pick also. So let's go get Edge Cooper. Let's go get Edge Cooper now, and then we'll come back and get the corner later.
All right. Drew, Texans, their first time on the clock here. 2 second-round selections.
You sure you want to pick from bro? You sure? One damn picture. Let me go to the D line, bro. Let me see what that's looking like. Yeah. This. You got Sweat on the board. Oh, we gonna do some damage, bro. Go to corner real quick. Let me just see this. Wait on corner. Let me get Brandon Douglas right.
Yeah.
Brandon Newton's Brandon Douglas.
Of course, he's listed as an edge here, but he's playing the interior of the defensive line. That's his best position. So, Dorless, I like it. Respect Dorless.
Gotta respect. I was looking at him right there for Atlanta.
I know you were.
I was looking at him.
You still got some good names here, though, on the D line here for
Yeah, I see
Atlanta.
Nealon.
23rd overall pick here, Headley.
Yeah. Interior. Let me see the corners real quick. Got Lester. You got Mikey. We got a lot of guys I think could come in and play nickel for us. I think we're really looking for another outside guy opposite Terrell. But go all. Let me see all players. So it's the offensive guys. I think we're pretty set on offense for Atlanta with that Roma Dunze pickup.
Yeah, you better be.
Yeah.
You better be set on offense.
We need an edge. We need an edge or a corner. Man, Nealon got upside, bro. Do I go with the upside?
Yeah, he does. I think Nealon could work his way into the first round potentially.
All right, let's go with the upside guy, man. Let's go Marshawn Nealon here to Atlanta to help the pass rush.
All right. Drew, you got the Raiders. You went with J.C. Latham. I believe he was the third offensive tackle off the board in this mock draft. What do you do here in the second round?
Look at the interior. You look at corner. Oh, he's there. We just gonna get Mikey.
Mikey? All right. Saver still is the pick. You're back on the clock here with New Orleans, Headley.
Yeah, checking them out here. They got Latham. I think he's a safety. Man. Tyron's getting a little older. So we're going to go with safety one, right? That's what we calling him, man. Tyler Nubin from Minnesota.
All right, Tyler Nubin. You know, I think people have taken him like out of their top 5 because the athletic testing wasn't great. But I just don't get it, man. I just don't get it, man. What does it look like on film? You understand what I'm saying? If you're telling me that Nubin isn't top 5 based off the film you've watched, then we have a problem. Then we actually have a problem. All right, Indy on the clock here, Drew.
Bro, he's just not athletic enough. It's just what it is, right?
Well, we always talk about that, though, right? The off field, or I shouldn't say off field, but the testing numbers in t-shirt and shorts, that it doesn't always translate first and foremost. So you can test out amazingly, but you don't play to that speed on the field, and vice versa.
Right.
So
I agree. Look at it. Edge for me real quick. I just want to see this there. Let me go receiver, and I'm gonna go with State. I'm gonna go with Keon.
Okay, so you're going with two power forwards, Michael Pittman and Keon Coleman.
Let's do it, bro. Big body, bro.
Okay, all right. Big,
but Keon Coleman got a little bit of a different element in terms of once the ball's in his hand.
Sure.
Right. So
all right.
Yeah.
All right, Keon Coleman's empty here. Back on the clock with the Giants, Headley. Drake May in the first.
Yeah. They need a receiver and a corner. That's the two things I'm looking at for them. You got Kamari Lassiter. I don't think D-Kid's going to like Kamari Lassiter too much. That speed. Got that guy Max Melton still hanging around right there. Then the receivers, Troy Franklin, Roman Wilson, Malachi Corley. Oh, you know what? We're going Jalen Pope, man. Let's go get Jalen Pope right now. Let's go get him.
I'm with it. Jacksonville, Drew, you went with Terry and Arnold in the first round.
So you're going to come back with a receiver.
Okay.
And I know that they gave your boy the contract, right? Josh Allen got paid, didn't it?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, right. So let's go Roman Wilson.
Okay. Roman Wilson to Jacksonville. Cincinnati, Drew.
Is Braden Fitz still there?
He is.
Yeah, let's go get a spray defense.
Get you that 3 technique you're running, huh?
Yes, sir.
All right, back-to-back trenches there for the Bengals. Philadelphia, you got 50th and 53rd overall picks. You took Cooper DeJean in the first round, Headley.
Yeah, we're gonna add to that defense. We're gonna go with second level off-ball linebacker. We're gonna go Peyton Wilson here to the Eagles.
All right, Peyton Wilson. Pittsburgh, Drew. Got your left tackle or your right tackle. Kick Roger Jones to the left tackle.
Yes, sir. We'll check the receivers. Malachi right there. How about my interior offense? Share that up one time. I think we might have to share that up one time. I'm looking at the depth chart.
These are all your guys here. Norzad, Bortolini. I know it's a bit earlier for them, but we were just talking about your top 15 interior offensive linemen. Adams, McCormick, Zinter, Van Pran, Mahogany, Pooney. This ranking doesn't do Pooney justice. I'm with Headley. I think Pooney actually, despite the fact that he's a little bit older, I think he's right there at that second, third round turn. I think he has an outside shot to be a top 50 pick.
Let me get Christian Haynes.
Okay. So what's the thought process here?
So I don't have an issue with Christian Haynes
playing what now? I'm sorry, you broke up.
Center, I think.
Guard.
Oh, guard.
I don't have an issue with him playing guard.
Well, I mean, that's his position. That's his position.
Let me just cheat. And you've been cheating looking at the roster, bro?
Looking at what rosters?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I got to look at rosters.
Come on, bro.
I can't keep all that in my mind. I got to see what's going on. You've been doing it without rosters? It's off the top?
I'm doing it without rosters, bro.
You nice.
Doing a damn good job.
Yeah, you nice. My memory don't work this way, man.
I'm not good. It's got Nate. Perfect there. Oh wait, hold on.
You want to play Haynes at center?
Maybe. Oh no, let's go with Pooney. Swap that.
Pooney?
Let's go with
All right. Dominic Pooney to Pittsburgh. Dallas Turner was your first round pick here in Los Angeles, Headley.
Yeah, I know the Rams, they want that sexy in wide receiver, but I think trenches. I'll be on the offensive line or the defensive line. Let me see the defensive line real quick. You got Braswell, Trice. You got Jenkins. I like Kobe Turner as my 3 tech, so I want a bigger body. Look at my guy Rook right there. We got Braswell, Trice. Booker, Murphy. I got my edge outside. I'm looking more like in the meat and potatoes part, like a Rook or Core. Let me
Ahoro. There you go. That's it right there.
Let me go to tackle. Go to the tackle position. Cause they can use a left tackle out there, and you got Patrick Paul. We just gotta fix them hands. Fix them hands. You know what? I'm gonna go off of the board a little bit, man. I'm gonna get Roger.
I already knew you were gonna do it, bro. I already knew you were gonna do it, bro.
Yeah, he'll fit this Sean McVay scheme really well. So let me go get him.
Rosengarten to the Rams. D-Kit is rolling his eyes. I can imagine right now. Philadelphia back on the clock here. Cooper DeJean, Peyton Wilson were your first 2 picks.
Yeah. So we short not really short up the back end. I think we can use another secondary guy. But I'm not gonna go there, man. I'm gonna go to the offensive side of the ball. Like I've been saying that interior offensive lineman is a place that the Eagles can improve upon. I know you like Sheen. I know you like Jurgens, but they're not really proven as of yet. So I'm gonna go grab more interior offensive line here. I'm gonna get Christian Haynes. I'm gonna go get Christian Haynes on the interior.
I think Philadelphia fans will be able to dig it. Dijon, some may lean towards Junior Colson because Peyton Wilson's injury history, but we're higher on Peyton Wilson. At least I am. I don't wanna give up our rankings like
it's
that.
we.
But the guard that has a chance to come in and start immediately, at least at one of those two guard positions, I think is something that Philadelphia fans will be receptive of. They're always a very interesting bunch. Cleveland Browns on the clock here, Drew. First and only pick here in this 2-round mock draft. You're on mute.
Where did Adrian Cooper go?
Green Bay.
Okay.
Edge.
Junior Colson, you're talking about he's linebacker 3 now, bro. That's what they say.
I've heard he's the top linebacker. I don't agree with it, but people have him as their top linebacker.
Wow. Go to D line real quick. Let's see what it next to.
There's two guys for me. It's two guys for me, bro.
It's 2 guys for you.
It's Chris Jenkins and Michael Hall Jr., bro.
I guess I'm gonna go with my top guy.
What's your top guy?
Jr.
Michael Hall Jr. It is. I think he'll be phenomenal in that even man front, bro. Miles Garrett up there, Dalvin. Man, look, he's gonna be a problem. He's gonna get a ton of one-on-one opportunities. All right, Miami. Jackson Powers Johnson in the first round, Drew.
Yeah,
they could use Chris Jenkins.
They could.
Or Horo roll.
Which one I like better for the Steve? Let's go Chris Jenkins.
Man, Drew, that's how you gonna do me? You took both 3 texts, man. I'm looking for 4 texts for Dallas. I'm thinking Hall might fall or Chris Jenkins. None of them fall to me, man.
None of them.
Let me see who's the next guy. Fisk is gone already. You got Fisk also?
Yeah,
man. Cold world, bro. You got Dwayne Carter, a guy we like.
I like Dwayne Carter a lot.
I like Rook also, but
looks like they moved Carter down. Maybe they moved him down, bro.
I see that. I want a guy to kind of get after the passer, but they also need help second level of their defense also. I'm big on Jeremiah Trotter Jr., man. I have him. I don't want to give up the sauce, but
don't give up the sauce, bro. But you're giving up the sauce.
Yeah, though. I'm giving it up a little bit. Let's go get the guy. Let's go get Junior Colson, man. Let's go get him on the second level, make some tackles, big physical guy.
All right. Bucks. Hell, you got Brock Bowers steal at 26 overall. We said it wouldn't happen, but it happened. What do you do now to follow this up?
I'm going corner. I know Drew don't want a corner, but we're gonna get them a corner back.
They need a corner, bro. They need a corner.
Who you like?
Don't let Drew fool you, bro.
Yeah, I'm a Max Melton guy. So let's go get Max Melton, man.
All right. Just a handful more picks here in our 2-round 2024 NFL mock draft. Green Bay back on the clock. Kingsley, Edrin Cooper. I think, Helly, you mentioned going the corner route here at 58.
Yeah. My guy, Kamar Lassiter. I think he's going to come at a discount because of that 40-yard dash. So, yeah, let me go get Kamar Lassiter here.
All right. Good value there for Lassiter. Houston, also in need of a corner here, Drew. I love the doorless pick. Love it. Again, ignore edge. He's an interior defensive line. I mean, he can play edge, but you want him playing 3-tech. That's where you want Brandon Doorless playing.
Let's go Chris Abrams Green.
I figured as much. All right. Buffalo. Brian Thomas falls to you, 28th overall.
Yes, it does. What does edge look like? I think
Edge.
This Braswell there.
The guy here, I'll give you some sauce here. Nah, this is Isaac, bro. That's the guy, bro. Of these guys, of the edges on the board, dog, Isaac is the guy I like most available.
All right, let's go with Adiza.
Who you going with?
Adiza Isaac. Let's go.
All right. Isaac out of Penn State. Detroit. Headley.
Man, we got Darius Robinson. Bookending him with Aiden Hutchinson. I still think we need a guy on the interior too. You know, might go all defensive line for these boys. You know what, man? They gonna hate me in the NFC North, man. I'm gonna go get Dwayne Carter right here,
Like
bro.
it. I like
Let's go. We're gonna get nasty up front, bro.
Big Dwayne. All
Sorry.
right. All right. Baltimore. Adonai Mitchell in the first round here, Drew.
Check them tackles real quick. Let me just see if did anybody fall. It's Patrick. No, we're gonna get Kieran, bro. Kieran, lock him up right now.
Karan Amagachi. All right. We're going high upside here. 50-inch arms. All right. San Francisco.
So I got the offensive lineman, Guyton.
Mm-hmm. You did.
Looking at the roster here, you got Bosa, Floyd, Greenlaw, Campbell, Ward. I think he's another corner. I know they got Tre'Davious Ward.
TJ Tampa, Kyrie Jackson. You got to do fits right there. Immediate fits. But
No, I'm gonna do something different. I'm gonna go get Malachi Corley. I just love the fit here, and if we need to move on from one of these receivers that want that money, that want that bread, let's go get the replacement right now. Thinking 2 steps ahead.
Okay. All right. I mean, Shanahan definitely will generate those touches for him, manufacture them for sure. All right, KC, Kool-Aid fell in your lap. What do you do here to finish up this 2-round 2024 NFL?
So it's between Patrick Paul and Troy Franklin, right? We're gonna grab Patrick.
What? Paul. Patrick Paul? Okay. All right, get the left tackle in here. I'm not mad at it. All right. Okay. That was intriguing. It was very much diabolical. That is some evilness there, Jake, for sure. All right, just a quick run through here. Caleb Williams get it started, followed by Jaden Daniels, Michael Penix. So 3 quarterbacks that started off. Marvin Harrison Jr., neighbors with the next 2 picks. Both the Cardinals, Chargers, receiver needy teams. Drake May falls to the Giants. Olu Fashionable, Roma Dunze, La Latu, and Joe Alt round out the top 10. J.J. McCarthy falls to the 11th overall pick, followed by Quinion Mitchell, J.C. Latham, Troy Fautano. So Latham was your 3rd tackle off the board. And again, it's not insane because, of course, there are going to be people who are obviously higher on Latham than they are Fautanu and Fuaga. Wiggins to the Colts, Verse to Seattle. This is probably the first time I've seen this landing spot for Jared Verse, but it's a good one. I like it. Terry and Arnold, Jacksonville, Fuaga to really solidify the right tackle position. And I thought your approach there, Drew, makes sense. If Fuaga slides to you a bit there, obviously you're thinking long-term that's your right tackle. With Trent Brown in place, you might actually be able to start him at one of the guard positions, right? If you feel good about Trent Brown. Now, if you're thinking Trent Brown is more swing tackle, 1-year deal, then, of course, Fuaga starts at right tackle for you. Dallas Turner to the Rams, Marius Mims, right tackle for Pittsburgh, Jackson Powers Johnson to Miami, Cooper DeJean, Johnny Newton, Graham Barton, Kingsley to Green Bay. It may come as a surprise for Green Bay fans, but not for us. I think we're probably a bit higher on Kingsley than the consensus is. A young player, ascending player. I think he's going to get a lot better, and he's a very intriguing. I thought he was really good at the Senior Bowl, but he was very good at the Senior Bowl. Brock Bowers slides, but that works out perfectly for the Bucks. Byron Murphy to the Cardinals. Brian Thomas Jr., Buffalo, Robinson, Mitchell, Guy, and McKinstry round out your first round. And, of course, we just went through the second round. I'll scroll through quickly here for our audience. And that's going to take us back to your rankings, gentlemen. We're going to get back into your rankings here. A little bit longer of a stream. Actually, we're doing pretty good time. We're actually doing pretty good time. So let's work through your top 15 offensive tackles. See what your thoughts are on these prospects. Okay, it's a very good tackle class, I would say. You know, top to bottom, Very good tackle class, and really on the top end, a lot of talent. We're thinking maybe as many as six, perhaps six offensive tackles going the first round. So Javon Foster comes in as both your tackle number 15 in these rankings. And Headley, give me your thoughts on him.
Foster, 6'5", 313, built really well, really good length, has a lot of experience and upper body strength. You know, Foster was a guy, his name has been bubbling for a while, 2021, 2022, 2023. So he's been on my radar for a while. When I first watched him, the movements, it was just so sloppy for me. Like, I didn't really consider him really a top tackle in this class.
So,
But
so what you're saying? So what you're saying is his life wasn't together, bro.
I
His
don't know what was
movements were
going on.
sloppy. So his
Yeah.
life,
Oh yeah, life is about
life is about
movements.
movements. So
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know,
he got to get his life right, man. But
gotta
at the
get your
Senior
life
Bowl, yeah, his life, you know, looked a little better out there. Movements was a little better because it was too many wasted movements for him. He wasn't being patient. I thought from a technique standpoint, his feet and hands to mirror, he did that well, but he could be more consistent. The balance, he lost a lot of balance at times. He does have really good movement ability in the run game, but he's kind of inconsistent in the pass game, especially moving laterally. I think he has a high pad level, plays with bad leverage and bend. So it all goes to his body and his movements. Needing work, he can overset, get beat inside. But in the run game, I think that's where he kind of excels. He kind of moves people in the run game. Got some chippiness to him. He could handle power, but he has to stay connected. So sometimes his hands are not as strong and he kind of loses his grip. So he needs to really stay connected in the pass game. And then I think he's got to fix those wide hands. He kind of allows defenders into his chest, and he racked up with some holding penalties as well because of the hand placement. But the good thing about him, he's good in the run game. He's a 3-year starter, really good experience, has really good length and upper body strength. So I think he's a guy that needs to be molded a little more. You know, he's been around for a while, but I still think he needs to be molded more, get more experience. I wouldn't start him right away. I'll develop him, and then maybe year 2, year 3, he can come in and be a starting tackle in the league. Mute. You're on mute, Juice.
Juice on mute. Drew, what do you have to add to the Foster conversation?
Computer going crazy, bro. What's sticking out here?
Haywire.
I got
Haywire.
Yeah, man. I'm just trying to be easy, but I want to end the live. You know what I'm saying? Javon Foster, I got when he drops his anchor and keeps his hands inside, there is no stopping him. Has good size and movement ability with more than touch of physicality. So, you know, I got a little bit more than touch of physicality. Gets after in the run game. At first glance, I thought he was an absorber, but that was because of two things. One, he won't drop his anchor and his arms are not inside or non-existent at times. This happens too often for me to move him up. But a coach may look at that and say, hey, we can fix that. Headley was off, man. He's 6'5", 314, not 313, man. Come on, now.
Missed him by a pound?
Yeah, he missed him by a pound, bro. 35 and 5/8 arm lengths. And I got here, and he's a step slow when it comes to games up front, man. He been missing with the guys, man. Trying to peel back, and he usually don't make it.
All right, let's keep it going here. Your 14th ranked offensive tackle, Blake Fisher out of Notre Dame. So, of course, Joe Alt, widely considered either the top or maybe the second best offensive tackle in this class. His running mate, Blake Fisher, at one point was considered really the prize jewel among the offensive line, but of course was overtaken by Alt here. I'll start with you, Headley.
Yeah, he's actually really similar to the last guy we spoke about, Javon Foster. The notes are almost the same because you say Foster 6'5", 314. Blake Fisher have here 6'6", 310. Well-built guy. Has the size and length. Good anchor to take on power. You know, he stopped defenders from gaining any ground. So, you know, really good size. He can move guys in the run game. I think that's where he excels. I love when they put Joe Alt and him on the same side, that unbalanced offensive line, and run right. It's a beautiful thing to watch with Audric Estime. So he can move guys in the run game. I think his issues, just like Foster, deals with balance issues, the wide hands, like shaky balance. He allowed defenders to get penetration in the backfield. But he moves well in the run game. He just got to be more consistent. Got to be more consistent. I think position is key for him. Got to be in the optimal position for him to work out because you really see good reps when he gets squared up, gets in those good positions. But then you see the bad reps where he looks lost or he's easy to beat. So just more consistency for him. Fluid as a pull blocker. I think he just needs more awareness as he's pulling to find work. He needs to locate those guys a little better. And, because Notre Dame, they ran that power scheme a lot, so he was pulling, he was a lead blocker, and it came really natural to him in a phone booth. It just more in space. I think he needs to locate better. So, I got him offensive tackle 14. I like the makeup of him, man. He's another guy like Foster where you got to develop him maybe year 2, year 3 to become a starter.
Drew, what do you have on Fisher?
Yeah, you know how I talked about Fisher in the summer scouting in terms of how the usage in terms of the short sets, right, in the pass game, and then in the run game, there's a lot of doubles and duos and whatnot. And I was trying to figure out, it's kind of an enigma to me because that's not something that you normally see where one side is completely different than the other side from left to right. Right? You might see if you played a play here, play there, but majority of the time it was consistent with what they were doing with Blake Fisher, and so I figured it out, bro. And I don't know how I missed it in summer scouting. Or maybe I was trying to give this man a little bit more kudos than what needed to be. But it's his hands, bro. They're terrible. They suck. They're inconsistent. And to the point where he's sliding, he's slipping off blocks. It doesn't matter if it's pass pro, run. It's all the same. In run, it causes him to lunge and kind of fall forward and just lose balance, as Headley was talking about. It's bad, and I think they were trying to hide him or protect him from it. So that tells me that this won't be a thing where you draft him and say, okay, he's a plug and play player. This is going to take a minute because to me, this is something that should have been fixed. And as we know, Notre Dame is one of those pipeline schools that actually have good offensive linemen routinely coming out. This is something that they just couldn't fix with him. They tried to hide it. Maybe that was a quick fix, but how long has he been there and how has that not been fixed? Or at least to where you didn't have to hide him and play it the way you were playing him, right? So that's a concern for me. But if you get it fixed, because I think he's actually a really, really good mover, and he can get to that second, third level. He can play in space if those things work. But the hands got to work, bro. You got to get him in position so you can survive. Otherwise, it's gonna be ugly every play.
Yeah, he's a challenge. He's a challenge because there's a lot to like there. But as you mentioned, it seemed that Notre Dame tried to do a couple of things schematically to mitigate some of his technical deficiencies. But we've come to expect Notre Dame to coach these guys up. You understand what I'm saying? So I wonder with some changes in terms of coaching staff, whether or not they just don't necessarily have the same. But of course, you look at Alton and you see his development, and you just kind of wonder. So I think Fisher is very intriguing. So somebody's going to take a chance on him a little bit earlier than I think we anticipate, and try to iron out some of those technical issues because there's a lot to like about the traits that he possesses. Moving on to your 13th ranked offensive tackle, Headley, you have Kieran Amagaji, and Drew, you have Matt Gonsalves out of Pittsburgh. Let's talk about the big Yale offensive tackle here, Headley.
How you said it? Amagaji?
Amagaji.
I like it, man. We used to call him Kieran from Yale, but he's Amagaji, 6'5", 323, 36-inch arms, man, and he uses them well. It's a little inconsistent because he played in a lower level of competition, and the first question we always ask is, did he dominate? And he dominated. He's a guy that definitely dominated the level of competition. When he did get beat, it was the hand placement, the usage of his hands, but it was rare though, man. So it's kind of nitpicking with him. He played only 4 games last season before the season-ending quad injury, so would have loved to see this guy at the Senior Bowl. This is a guy that should have made it to the Senior Bowl if he was healthy, and we could have really saw him against upper level competition, but we didn't get to see that. So right now, it's still a projection for him. Also, he's a traits guy. If he can fix those hands, I think he could be a good one. He's big, long, leads with his hands, really good anchor, and that nastiness, man. He shows that nastiness on tape to finish his blocks. He has the ability to move and get to the second level. And what I love about him is how he bursts. He bursts out of his stance. He attacks defenders. He brings the fight. He's not an absorber, Drew. He's going out there to dominate, man. He didn't face that top-notch competition, but like I said, he checks a lot of boxes: size, length, athleticism. I think a team would take a chance on him in the mid rounds, man, and mold him up, man, because he's a good one on tape, man. We just don't know what it looks like against the upper echelon competition as yet.
Sure. Drew, but before you get to Gonzalez, I want to let the audience know a couple things. Those of you who are enjoying the stream, do us a favor. If whether you're on YouTube or not, hit that like button for us. All right, be sure to do so. And then, of course, if you're not subscribed, why aren't you subscribed? Subscribe. All right, so you can get this good content on a regular basis. What are we doing? What are we doing here? Jake, our good pal Jake, actually has a scouting report on Karan Amagaji. So you want to be sure to check out his channel, Jake Shavink NFL. Check out his YouTube channel so you can get that deep dive as it relates to Amagaji. All right, Drew, give me your thoughts on Gonzalez here.
Gonzalez for Pittsburgh, really good pass pro. That will take defenders where they want to go, right out of the play. He's smart, quick, gets to his spot and drops his anchor in the pass game. He plays with the requisite physicality that most would want from the position. He gets to the second and third level with ease. When pulling is clean and clear and quick, no real wasted movement. It's nice mirror and match as well. And actually, I think I have him too low because right now I'm looking for some negatives, and I don't have any currently, bro. So I think I have him too low. So that's a faux pas on my part.
I like it, faux pas. It's a good word.
I'll be using words. Sometimes I misuse words, but I think I got it there.
You gotta, you know what I'm saying? Every shot you don't take, you miss.
Yeah, you gotta keep shooting.
Keep
shooting, bro.
That's what they say.
All right, moving on to your 12th ranked offensive tackle. Headley, you actually have Gonzalez as your 12th ranked tackle, and Drew, you have Roger Rosengarten. So let's finish the conversation around Gonzalez, Headley.
Yeah, I think Gonzalez. I think he's a sleeper tackle in this class. Like Drew said, there's a lot of positive in his notes. I think the negative is something really he can't control, which is that arm length, 33-inch arms. But I think he uses it really well. He has the versatility to play both tackle positions, even move to the interior. I think he can move to the interior for teams not really comfortable with that arm length. Sometimes he come a little high, but he's one of those shorter arm tackles that look good at tackles. We've come across some of these guys where they say their arms are shorter, but the movement ability is nice, and they use their hands really well. So he's 6'6", 327. Played only 3 games last season before a foot injury. So just like Kieran from Yale, I went back to Amagaji. Just like Amagaji. He missed a lot of time last season, so it's kind of out of sight, out of mind a little bit for Gonzalez. But he has the versatility. He come inside also. He plays with urgency and awareness. I like how he gets in a good position and he gets in those right angles. I like how his hands and feet work together. Really light on his feet. He gets to his spots. I think his strength also holds up really well. They did a lot of quick sets over there in Pittsburgh. They didn't really get into much deep sets. But also he has the agility to get into his pass sets, shuffle his feet back inside and get to an inside pass rush. So he's talking about some of these tackles where they could overset and can't get back inside. But Gonzalez does a really good job due to his agility. Hands are always up and ready to put in that work. And like I said, man, I think he's a sleeper, man. I think he's a guy that a team's going to draft and say, hey, we can play in both tackle spots. We can move him inside the guard. He could be the swing tackle. This offers a lot of versatility, and he's very light on his feet and uses his hands really well.
All right. So, Drew, you actually mentioned you thought you might be a little too low on Gonzalez. Quite a bit of praise there from Gonzalez from you there, Headley, as well. So, got to keep an eye on him as the draft nears. Roger Rosengarten, Drew.
I was muted. Roger Rosengarten. We all remember the famous championship game versus Michigan. It was brutal. And so what I like about Rosengarten is obviously I think he was, if not, he may have been the most athletic tackle when testing, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong, but I think that kind of boosted his stock. Yeah, big time athlete. He moves really, really well. He has really good hands, quick hands. When them feet and them hands match, and he's not doing the absorbing thing, I think that's the best you're going to see of Roger Rosengarten, because you're not going to go through him. You're not going to go around him, and inside or out. Like he's solid. The issue is that, and I think you saw this in the Michigan game, is he'll just allow people to just get into his chest. And I think in the season he was able to get away with that consistently because he would take on that initial charge, or yeah, we'll call it a charge from the defensive lineman, and then he would absorb it, take about a yard and a half, two back, and then be able to plant, anchor, drop, and drive, right? And or stalemate, right? And it worked consistently. You can't do that in the league, right? And he got exposed in that championship game. Like you have these hands that work really well, and you're able to get to guys, and it's just weird that it's kind of inconsistent when it comes to his hands. I don't know, it's crazy. You have these great hands, but sometimes I'm okay with you. Hey, I got all this chest right here, man. Just take it all. I'm giving it to you, right? And again, he was able to kind of overcome that in the season, but in the championship game, it's over, bro. Like they probably saw it on film. It was like, oh, we got him. It's done. We know what to do with this guy. And he got used and abused, unfortunately. So I think that's the one thing that you have to clean up. Once you get that cleaned up, though, you got a guy, bro. You got a guy. You got a dude. You got a dude, as DJ would say.
As you mentioned, Drew, it was rough. It was painful. It was painful. And if that was your first introduction to Roger Rosengard, you would think that he's not an NFL caliber player. Bro. It was that bad. It was that bad. It really was that bad. But I thought, obviously when you look at the full body of work, obviously there's a lot of things to like there. But I thought the way he responded in Mobile was impressive. He showed up and he improved. He cleaned up a couple of different things, and he proved that, I was off my game that day. You know what I'm saying? I'm much more capable. And what really jumps out, as you mentioned, is the athletic ability. You talk about guys not being able to get through him when he gets his hands up. It's guys not being able to get around him.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That foot speed, that flexibility, to disallow that edge from bending the corner. I mean, it's impressive. It's impressive. So from a technical standpoint, when he has everything working in concert, you can see why there's this high for him. You can see why he's being pushed up the board. You know what I mean? At the onset of the pre-draft process, I think the consensus probably had him, day 3, right? But now we're talking about, early day 2. And I've even heard some rumblings about him being at the end of the first. I think that'd be a bit much, but certainly I would expect him to be selected day 2. So that's Roger Rosengard. Drew, actually, Headley, he's your 11th ranked tackle here. So let's talk about him some more.
Yeah, you just got to throw out that Michigan game, that national championship game, because, if you throw that game out, like you said, he could be a day 2 guy, easy. I love his athletic ability, because that Michigan game, like you said, he does really good at the apex of the pass rush where he can get out there. But that Michigan game, he didn't look good out there, man. He got beat with that outside hand. It's something when you look through the rest of the games on tape, he did a really good job of. But for some reason in that game, those guys went around him, and then sometimes he overset, and then they came inside of him. So it was just really bad in that Michigan game. But if you throw that out, like I said, the athletic tackle, I like his feet. His hands are really good when he uses them. He has some nastiness to him also. I see him throwing defenders to the ground. Anchor and base is shaky though, especially against those power guys. I think he got to get stronger. At the next level, he got to add some strength to his game. Yeah. Because they could throw him off balance with the bull rush. The guys in the NFL, they're bigger and stronger than the collegiate level. So if the college guys are doing that to him, that's something definitely the NFL guys will do to him as well. But the positives for him, though, very good mirror and match ability. Like I said, feet and hands, they work well together. And I think he goes earlier than expected because a team, I think they can mold him. They can say, hey, we're just going to put him in the weight room, put him on some strength training, get him stronger. And once we fix that, I think they have a starting tackle at the next level. I think he could be a left or right tackle. He played right tackle at Washington, but if you think about it, that's Michael Penix's blind side. He's really could be left or a right tackle. And he could move really well in that zone scheme. He could get to the second level, but I think it was a bit inconsistent of locating guys and attaching to the second level guys because he could get out there. You see him in those wide receiver screens, so like Jerome Dunze, Polk, one of those guys. He really has the athleticism to get out there and find guys, but he just got to do a better job of finding the guys, is what I'm trying to say. So really, really intriguing prospect here in Roger Rosengarten.
We generally don't use the term that I'm going to use with offensive tackles. He's twitchy, bro.
Mm-hmm.
He's twitchy. He's twitched up athlete for sure. And again, I think it's those traits that really have NFL scouts intrigued here. Jordan Morgan, Drew. I've maintained that I view Jordan Morgan as a guard. The tackle tape is really good. It really is good. I just wonder. I'm concerned. I saw a couple of things, especially live in Mobile, where it seemed that he's not necessarily a twitchy guy, and the shorter arms may create a little bit of a challenge for him when he's dealing with that wide 9 pass rush. Your thoughts on him, Drew? Mute.
Oh, all right. Jordan Morgan. I have here is a beast when he can get his hands on you when he is ready. He is strong with heavy mitts who will mix it up given the opportunity. Good run blocker. He can be a mauler of men. However, I can understand why people see him as a guard. He got the 32 and 7/8 arm. So we're talking about essentially 33-inch arms, which is very telling when you watch the tape because there's times where he does the bear hug thing. Obviously, it's going to get him in trouble. He is strong, so even sometimes when you're able to get into that chest, he can kind of hold down, kind of stall you out, right? Right. But again, when you're playing with grown men, I got that grown man strength that may not necessarily work anymore for you, right? So I think maybe kicking him into guard kind of protects him from himself. Like Headley says, the things he can't control, but he is a good mover. He does try to get his spot. Doesn't necessarily always get to his spot, but he tries to get there. But I think the arm length does cause him issues. So it just depends on what set you're asking him to do when you're playing tackle. Otherwise, you kick him in the guard, and I think he'll be a solid guard. He probably should have been in my interior offensive lineman, to be honest with you, but I left him out. So, but yeah, it just depends on what you're going to ask him to do in terms of the tackle position for the sets.
And for that reason, I think they're going to be teams that have him on their board as a tackle, while others may have him as a guard. Right, as you mentioned, when he gets his hands locked in, generally speaking, the rep is over. So it'll be interesting to see where he lands and then ultimately how he's deployed in an offense. We move on to your top 10 ranked offensive tackles in the 2024 NFL draft class. Headley, you have Patrick Paul, and Drew has the aforementioned Karan Amagaji. Let's start with Amagaji this time around here, Drew. Go ahead.
Mute.
I'm trying to keep it soft.
Oh, yeah, I got you. You're good, bro.
All right, Amagaji. What you got, Amagaji? Oh, yes. All right. I got so I wonder if they did this because he's so long. I think it may end up being a disadvantage for him in the end. I don't know. We'll see. But he ran a lot of short, quick sets. But he has quick hands. He's strong and they're heavy. He's strong, physical, can maul if need be. He can play a little high. I mean, he's tall, so you kind of expect that. There's a couple of guys that just happens naturally because they're tall. He appears to have that reach. I think Juice, you said he got 50-inch arms earlier. And he has a requisite size that you want from the position. He is coming off an injury, and he did dominate playing for a smaller school. So I'm kind of leery or weary in terms of those short sets because he did it a lot. I just wonder why they did it that way. I wonder if they were just trying to help him with his arm length, just trying to get him to guys. Because when he got on guys, it was over. It didn't matter what type of edge rusher was coming.
All right, that's Amagaji there. Headley, Patrick Paul, we've talked about him several times as it relates to our mock drafts, and you always say that got to fix the hands. What do you like about him, though?
Yeah, 6'7", 331, 36-inch arms. So he's the prototype, man. A lot of experience, 3-year starter. I think he's a lot better at pass protecting in the passing league. So you're going to need a guy like that to protect your quarterback. That wingspan is ridiculous. So a team is probably going to fall in love, man, because he is the prototype. So those are things to like about Patrick Paul. But you got those long arms, 36-inch arms, the wingspan, but he just doesn't use them. It's low and it's wide. You got to activate them a lot quicker. Like you said, they're teaching the low hands, but like bring them up. Like the guy's coming, the rush is coming. You got to bring them up, man. And he's
Right.
just a little late to the party with that, man. So I think once he fixed those hands, he could be a good one because he's hard to get through. He has a really good anchor. He does play a little high at times. He can't really help it. He's 6'7", so I think that takes away some of his power, just how high he plays. They can beat him with quickness, especially those inside moves. I think foot quickness can also improve with him. But he's advanced as a pass blocker. As a run blocker, he can move to the second level, but he's not that fluid. So he could miss. He can miss the ideal. He's not in the right positioning at the second level for those second level blocks. But block downs, he could clear down the lane. Block downs, hit the guard to open up some running lanes. I do want to see more nastiness from him too. He's kind of a bit of a dancing bear a little bit, where I'm looking for some nastiness, punish guys into the ground. So I'm looking for him to do that more. So once he can fix those hands and it's become more nasty, I think he could be a good one because athleticism, he's quick off the snap in the pass sets. And like I said, he got the size, the length, everything that a team would like. Just a couple things to fix up, and he could be a eventual starter. I don't think he's a right away starter in the league. I think he'd come in, like I said, year 2, year 3, and be a good one, especially in the pass game.
All right, it is a passing league. Drew, your thoughts on Patrick Paul? Got him a little bit higher here.
Yeah, I do, and I know I was poo-pooing him in one of the drafts that we did, but
It was the Steelers draft. It was the Steelers draft.
It was.
My pops was like, yo. He said that was funny, bro. He was like, man, Drew wanted this guy. Y'all didn't get him this guy, bro.
And then Headley said at the end of it, he's like, man, maybe we should do this game.
That was the next live. Yeah, the next live. I was watching the video, and I was like, man, I think Drew was right on that one, bro. We should have got that guy. I forgot who it was. Who was it we wanted to get?
It was Kingsley. I think it was Kingsley.
Yeah. So Headley kind of talked about in terms of the struggles with the run. Part of the reason the struggle with the run is because he is a taller guy, so the leverage isn't there that you want, right? Plus, they're not asking him to kind of. It's not that's not how it's built for them to go and attack the guy in front of them. If they are blocking for the run game, it is the crashing down thing, right? So which he does well. And I thought if he was more aggressive in the pass game, I think it may clean up some of his issues. He's doing a lot of weight and sitting back, and when he did a couple of short sets or just happened to just go get his guy, it looked different and it looked cleaner to me. Although he is good at pass pro, but to clean up some of his warts, I think just allow him to be a little bit more aggressive. And then, like Henry was talking about in terms of him being just more aggressive and putting guys in the ground and making sure guys know he's here. It's like he's just lacking that, bro. And I think it may be the nature of the offense too that they were running there.
Maybe might not be built that way, but hopefully we can get some of that mean streak out of him at the next level. Jordan Morgan checks in as your 9th ranked offensive tackle, Headley.
Yeah, Jordan Morgan, man, I got a lot of notes on Jordan Morgan because I couldn't really figure him out, man, because you see reps you see reps where he's excellent. I love his movement ability. But then you see reps where it's just bad, So I went to 2022, 2023, and he dealt with a lot of injuries throughout his career. So I'm wondering on those bad games or those bad reps, was he fully healthy? So that's something to watch with Jordan Morgan. But he got really good athleticism to get off the ball. He gets to his landmarks really well, can help in the block down game. I think he has good hands when he uses it, but sometimes it's late and wide. I think hand technique, I think people could take advantage of him. Those 32-inch arms, you kind of see it on tape. So like Drew and you guys, Juice was saying earlier, that move to inside, it might be where he needs to live at the next level, man. Maybe he probably should have been on my interior offensive line, top 15 instead of offensive tackle. But he's here at offensive tackle 9. I think the smaller guys, I've seen him get him off balance at times with power. It was even Brendan Trice. I know he's not a smaller guy, but in that Washington game in 2022, he got manhandled a little bit with power. But I thought in 2023, he did a lot better against Brendan Trice. Trice got him a couple times, but you saw Jordan Morgan improved upon that, handling Brendan Trice, because he lost the hand battle game a lot with Trice in 2022. I think he needs to bend in his knees a little better instead of his waist. He's kind of a waist bender at times. So some technique things I think he could work on, but the athletic ability is there. The movement ability is there. So I really like his athletic profile. He could get one, reset, move lateral, pick up another guy in the pass rushing game. So that speaks to his agility. So the physical guys and the grip strength things, I think that could improve with him. But I guess quicker guys, in that same game, ZTF, he faced him and he did really good against ZTF because of that quick twitch ability that ZTF has. And he mirrored and matched ZTF really well. And he, I say, really good on the move going forward to locate, free up the ball carrier for those big runs in the run game. So he'll get out there, and like I say, he turns those 5-yard runs into 20-plus yard runs because of his athleticism. So I don't know where I'm coming out on Jordan Morgan still. I'm still not sure about him. I do
One
think
foot in,
the
one
move to
foot out.
guard. Yeah, because you see the pros and you see the cons, and then if you move him inside, I think he has a little issue against power. So I'm not sure how great he'll be inside. So yeah, I don't know on Morgan right now. It's still a guy that I'm still, like you said, 1 foot in, 1 foot out on.
You've watched Morgan more than me, right? So I'll defer to you in terms of your concerns regarding his power. What I've seen of him, I thought the power was fine. You did mention that there's the athleticism to move, right, laterally, second level, but maybe not necessarily great flexibility, right? And I think that, along with the length, is probably my biggest issues with him playing the tackle position, right? Again, when you're playing those bendy guys who can convert speed to power, but also really threaten you at the apex of their rush and flatten out and dip, and that, I think that's when you start to get in trouble. I think that's when you start to get in trouble with him out there on the edge at the tackle position. So while there may be some concerns kicking him inside, I think I'd be more comfortable with him playing guard.
Yeah.
That being said, as I mentioned before, I think there are going to be certain teams that feel comfortable with at least starting him at tackle and then seeing where it goes from there.
Yeah, and like I said, I wonder how healthy he's been, through his career. He dealt with a lot of injuries.
There's some red flags. There's some red flags there as well. You're right, which obviously could have impacted his flexibility, his ability to perform at a higher level there at tackle. All right, you guys are on the same page here in terms of your 8th ranked offensive tackle. I'll start with you, Headley, on Tyler Guyton.
This guy's a mammoth. Look at him right there. Look at that stance he's in right there, bro. That you really don't need no notes, bro. This guy's a mammoth, but the leverage is a little off. He doesn't look coordinated at times. I think he's a projection. I think he's super raw. And I know the question was asked, Mims or Guyton in the last slide. I think with DP, I think he went Guyton. I'm not sure, but I think Mims is a far better prospect.
Did he go Guyton?
I thought he did.
Mims.
He went Mims.
I don't remember. I'll have to
go back to the live.
Yeah.
You gotta go back to the live. But I like Mims a lot better. Mims got to stay on the field. But Guyton, 6'8", 322, super raw. Came in for Wanya Morris in the 2022 season. He played HVAC at TCU, so that shows that he doesn't have much experience at the tackle position. But he has quick feet for the snap to get into optimal position. I think his anchor is a little shaky. I think power kind of pushes off balance a little bit. I think that's more technique because he's big, he's strong. It's just the technical part of his game. Sometimes he gets pushed off balance. Also, I think he can improve his hands a little better. Use those hands. He has those long hands. It's kind of like who was the other guy said with the long hands but don't really use them as well? That was
Patrick Paul.
Patrick Paul. Yeah, it's kind of like Patrick Paul where he has the length with his hands, but he just got to use them a little better. So I think hand technique can improve. I think he did get better from 2022 to 2023. I would give him that. I thought 2023 he did improve his hands a little more. Grip strength and balance also I thought could improve. I think he's very raw from a technical standpoint, but in a run game, that's where he does his damage. He's very athletic. He gets to the second level, and he could attach. But I say athleticism, how he bursts from stance to second line for stands out, blocks down very effectively. He could pull in a phone booth, and he played better as the season went along. So I think Tyler Guyton's a raw prospect. I'm hearing day one, round one for him. I think
You just
he's a
took
day
him.
two
You
guy.
just took him in the first. You just took him in the
Yeah,
first. You
yeah.
did.
The end of the first, right?
End of the
In a
first.
certain
Yeah.
scheme, he has to be in a running scheme. I think I took him with the 49ers. So if
Yeah.
you're a run heavy team, I could see it in the first round, but he's just so raw as a pass protector, where it's kind of a high risk, high reward pick.
All right, Drew, your thoughts on Tyler Guyton, who is a mammoth in size. He and Patrick Paul were standing next to each other during the media portion at the Senior Bowl this year, and this it's just different, bro. Just like, you know, we're full grown men, bro. We're not small people, but there's just mutant type stuff going on there. Go ahead, Drew.
Yeah, that's funny, bro. That's funny. And I just took off my headphones and I realized how loud it is in here because I had them on noise canceling. I was like, God, it's loud in here. All right. But Tyler Guyton, I think to kind of piggyback off what Headley was saying, to protect Guyton, he has to be aggressive. I think it's one of those things when you talk about we talk about specifically. Let's talk about linebackers when we say we don't want that guy to think. We want him to just execute. I need you to be here at this spot at the end of this play. This is where you need to be. I think that's kind of how you have to treat Guyton and the pass pro part of it, because when he's on, I think he's a top 3 tackle, right? In terms of matching his feet with his hands. But oftentimes he kind of gets lost out there in terms of what he's supposed to do and trying to get those things to mirror and match up, right? So I think if you do put him in a run heavy scheme, there's less thinking when it comes to that, and we can kind of bring him along slowly in terms of the pass game. But in terms of my notes here, like I said, when everything matches, I put top 5. I took 5, so let me reel it back. Top 5 in terms of it's top 5. He's a top 5 and can maybe slide into the top 3. Okay, but he has the consistency issues. He does have a nasty streak. I thought he gets to his anchor quickly, but again, that's assuming that he gets to it consistently. Will mix up his sets when being in pass. Let me restate that. Will mix up his sets being passive or aggressive, and I think that's a good thing for him. But again, sometimes he can get in trouble because the feet and the hands don't match, right? Letting people get into his chest or just not getting to his spot in terms of, guys beating him around the corner. He does have a nice quick punch that can throw defenders off. So there's just a lot to kind of tinker and kind of mold to get him where you want to be. But the it's there. I mean, he's got the physical traits, he's got the size, and then you talk about him, like Headley said, was playing halfback. It's like, okay, now he's playing tackle, and he's actually playing it pretty good for the amount of time he's been playing it. So I think coaches are gonna look at that and be like, man, we can fix that, man. It may not be year one. We may be able to round that thing out and get him right.
Yeah, big time traits with respect to Tyler Guyton. There's no question about that. And considering that the NFL draft is a projection, you're going to have certain teams who place an emphasis on the fact that, yeah, it's what he's going to become, right? When he gets college, or rather professional coaching, it's what he's going to become. That's what's going to push him or keep him in the first round. I think a really good landing spot for him actually is New England. He wouldn't have to start immediately. I think he still would be like an early day 2 pick. They have quite a bit of draft capital. So it's just one of those things where, I think landing spot coaching staff, offensive line coaching staff is going to matter in order to get him to those lofty expectations that folks have for him. Moving on, you actually have the tackle that you explained during the mock draft here, Headley, as far as why you took him where you took him. Kingsley Suamataia out of BYU. We'll start with you, Headley.
Yes, and now we get into the top 7 tackles. To me, I think these are first round guys. I'm not sure how the NFL sees Kingsley. He might go after Tyler Guyton, but I think his
Right.
tape is a lot better than Guyton. He's clean. To me, he's a quick twitch bowling ball. He shows a great blend of athleticism and power. He played right tackle for BYU in 2022, moved over to the left side. And, I thought he started out a little slow at left tackle, but once he got the experience, once he got more reps there, I thought he fit perfectly well. Displays really great pass sets. His feet are quick and fluid. He gets to his landmarks and he utilizes his hands effectively. He gets him out there. He's a block down beast. He's a bully with a finisher demeanor. So he's a guy that's going to clear out the running lanes. He block down the guards and open up the lanes for the running backs. He'll drive defenders in the ground. He fires off the ball in the run game. Also has the ability to pull effectively and locate defenders. I think, like I always say, that's important for me, man. When you're pulling, you got to be able to locate. I think he does that well. Just got to keep his head up sometimes, because sometimes he lunges at the second level defenders. But he's a big man that can move. I think he's better in the run game than the passing game. I think some of his technique stuff could be better. I think his hands usage could be a little more consistent. But when he's in a good position and he's hard to get around, he's hard to go through. He's ready to use his hands, keep defenders from his chest. But like I said, that could be a little more consistent. I thought the Senior Bowl, he really put it all together there. Had great practice days at the Senior Bowl. I think NFL teams, he has that size that they will covet. I think he needs to be careful oversetting a little bit, and because he got beat multiple times inside, sometimes on tape. But I think those deficiencies, once he cleans that up, I think he could be a starting left tackle for years to come in the NFL and be a potential Pro Bowler, man. I'm really high on Kingsley, and I think he should probably be a first-round pick.
Go ahead, Drew.
Yeah, we're gonna beat the drum for Kingsley. We've been talking about him since summer scouting. Has the size that you want from the position. Play both, like Headley was saying, left and right tackle. He has some aggressiveness that you want from the position as well. When his hands and his feet match, he's hard to beat or get around. He has that nice wide body that you want as well. When his hands are late, what I got here? Oh, when his hands at times can be late and misplaced. And I put here, this is weird because they did run short sets there at BYU as well. So that part kind of didn't make sense to me. But then as I'm looking through the tape, and then I realized, obviously he's switching sides. I think he's kind of thinking through, okay, what is it that I'm doing? Right. Because again, I've heard, the example that people give when you're going from left to right is like, I'm asking you've been writing right-handed all your life. Now I need you to write left-handed. Right. And so when you say that, that's kind of, okay. It's not just moving to the side, because now everything that you were doing with one hand, you have to do that with the other hand on the other side. You know what I'm saying? If this is the hand that I'm moving first on the left side, or excuse me, on the right side, now it's my other hand, right? And so it just creates this awkwardness, and you can just see him when you're watching on tape. He's kind of thinking through what he's doing, and it slows him down in terms of what he is, which is what kind of Headley was saying in terms of his ability to move, get out, find his guy, drop his anchor, and lights, camera, action. That guy's done, right? So I think the moving him to left tackle hurt him in terms of people showing him love, but I think this is one of the guys that people are gonna like, damn, why weren't we higher on this guy, right? But it was because maybe he moved over to left tackle and it was just a slow burn over there.
Yeah, I think it showed up in terms of his run blocking as well, right? I think after the summer scouting, we expected, him to be dominant in the run game, and we just didn't see that sheer dominance that we think he's capable of. Important to note that he's a very young player. I think he just turned 21 in January, if I'm not mistaken. So a lot of room for development. Very, very high upside. He's related to Penei Sewell. He works out with him. I believe they're cousins. Yeah, this is going to be a player. Again, I think, as you mentioned, Constantino general manager is higher than the consensus is on Kingsley out of BYU. We move on to your sixth.
Real quick.
Go ahead.
Real quick before you do that, you ain't hear a peep at the Senior Bowl about him. And you know what they say about offensive linemen when you don't hear anything.
They're trying to keep it low. They're trying to keep it. They're trying to keep it quiet, hush, hush. Yep. You're absolutely right. I thought, even with the likes of a Fuaga there, whom obviously is ranked higher, then Kingsley. I thought to me, the totality of it, both one-on-ones, inside run drills, 11 on 11. I thought Kingsley had the best week of any tackle there. That's just my opinion. No, everybody doesn't see it that way, but I'm very high on him. Very, very high on his upside. Marius Mims checks in as your 6th ranked tackle. Go ahead, Headley. Talk about it.
Yeah, it's limited games. I think he only started 8 games, and then some of the games they'll take him out and then put him back in. So, but man, the tape is impressive of Marius Mims. I think this guy has a potential and a ceiling to be one of the top 3 tackles in this class. It's just the health. It's just the health with him, man. He got to be on the field because 6'8", 340, 36-inch arms. Former 5-star guy. He has a strong punch. He could punch one, slide laterally, get the other on the inside. He's a bully out in space. His ability to connect. He's a power puncher. And sometimes that punching gets him in trouble too much because he's not really attaching and holding the block. He just wants to devour guys, man.
Yeah, you want to shock folks. Yeah,
with that power punch, man. But the injuries are big for him. But the tape, man, is super smooth. I don't think much tackles have better hands, technique, and placement, or the size. No one has the size of him, but the hands are scary good, in my opinion. He got hurt, but he's big, strong, fast. He moves well to the second level, hard to go through or around. With a lot of these guys, the hands are sometimes too low in his pass sets, but that's what they're teaching him. But he does well moving to the second level. He just needs more seasoning. Missed a lot of games. But once he gets that seasoning and that more experience, I think this guy, his size, his movement ability, I think he can be a beast at the next level, man. So hopefully he stays healthy, man, and we get to see his full potential. This guy's a first-round guy for me.
All right, what are your thoughts?
I don't think there's anything he can't do. And Headley said in terms of being, I got it in my notes, he is a top 3 tackle in this draft, assuming that the injuries aren't a thing. Good reach, hands, he's aggressive, gets to his spot, locks guys out. For his size, he moves extremely well. And you talk about the tackles that have come out of Georgia who have actually played well in the league. This guy's kind of a different mold in terms of his just his size, bro. And it's crazy. Yeah. And he greasy, bro. No gloves. You know what I'm saying? Got that gristle to him. So it's just the injuries, bro. Like you just don't know, right? And like Headley said, watching the tape, oh, he's on the field, 2 drives, and then the next drive, like what's happening? And then a couple of plays later, okay, he's back in, plays 4 plays, and then he's out again. And you're like, what's going on? Like, and it wasn't like they were blowing the team out. The game just started. Be like, where are you at? What's happening? So, and again, I said this earlier about the interior offensive line. Is he too big for his size, moving the way he's moving? Because I don't know that I want that. But assuming that everything is good, it's just, things just kind of happen. And, guy fell on his leg the wrong way, just bad luck, right? He's going to be a guy, bro, but just wondering.
I gotta confirm something. I gotta confirm something. So bear with me here on the Marius Mims, because it all speaks to him being too big and moving too quickly at that size, and the body, the joints, all of it just can't handle it. I mean, his hands are damn near 12 inches, bro.
Ridiculous.
It's a mutant, bro.
And it just goes to, the precious few snaps, right? Of course, high quality snaps, but precious few snaps throughout his tenure at Georgia. Can your body hold up? When we talked about it, I think Derwin James is probably the poster child for this, right? You're so big, you're so fast, your body can't keep up with it. You know what I'm saying? It's susceptible to injury because of the strain. It makes me think about Derrick Rose, right? The torque and the explosion from Derrick Rose, considering the way his body was built, his body couldn't handle it. You know what I'm saying? When you saw it at spurts, it was amazing, but his body ultimately couldn't handle it. So that's really my hesitation on Mims. But otherwise, very talented player, as you point out. We move into your top 5 among the offensive tackles, and you had J.C. Latham as a 5th-ranked tackle. And Drew, you actually took him as a 3rd tackle off the board. I think you may have prioritized the right tackle, and then maybe you just wanted to go in a bit of a different direction here. What are your thoughts on Latham, Drew? Start with you. Mute. God.
I just hit the button too. I guess it didn't even take. Man, that's terrible. I was high on Latham coming into the season and even in summer scouting. Man, he's strong, physical at the point of attack. I think when I had watched him in summer scouting, I was like, I don't know that he's doing anything wrong, bro. He's solid. He's consistent in his approach. No real missteps or being over aggressive. He's got the right temperament for the position. Lots of controlled aggression. Hard guy to get around and through. He has the size, the speed that you want from the position. He was a stalwart on that offensive line for Alabama, man. He was the dude, man. They usually have at least one guy over there, if not two. Usually one guy on the outside, one guy on the interior. And he was a stalwart for that team, man. And I've heard talks, that he might be the first right tackle off the board. I don't know, Fuaga people, about that, whatever. But yeah, man, he's solid. I think you probably want him in a power scheme though. So maybe that's where he might take the hit. But hey, solid player.
Solid player. What are your thoughts, Headley?
Yeah, I think he has one of the highest floors in the class. He's real solid. He's real steady. He's real consistent. He handles rushers. If you don't have a secondary move on J.C. Latham, he's stonewalling you. You can't really beat him. Can't get around him. Can't get through him. What I was really impressed with was his the 2022 tape against B.J. Ojulari. We was big on Ojulari, the movement ability, and I think that feet he is flat-footed at times, but I think he's underrated. I think he can move well for his size, and he can stay in front of defenders. I think hand technicians could get him at the next level, but he has the strength and power to be effective in the run game. Handles speed to power really well, really good anchor. That base is really nice. Also, he's not really getting pushed back. He's just too strong. He's just too strong, too big, and he knows how to use his hands. I think the twitchy athletic tackle edge rushers with good movement ability and hand usage might be a little concern for him. But like I said, that Ojulari tape, I always go back to that tape and said, no, he handled one of those twitchier guys really well. He has a wide body, great movement ability for his size, hands to stonewall defenders. I like his hands. His hands are really consistent, always in the optimal position. And power and strength to turn defenders. He's a guy that will throw guys out the club. The Uncle Phil, like we call it over here, Fresh Prince, man, he'll throw guys out of the club. I think he's effective in the run and the passing game. And even for his size, man, I think the knee bend and leverage is pretty good as well. I think from a technical standpoint, I think he checks boxes, man. He's big, he's strong, he's powerful. And in that scheme, power gap scheme, he probably fit that, really well. I think he's a guy that you draft him between like 10 and 20, and you're going to love the pick, man, because he's going to be a right tackle for a lot of years to come.
All right, good stuff on Latham there. We move on to your 4th-ranked offensive tackles, respectively, and it also reflects your 3rd-ranked tackles, just flip-flop here. So, Drew, you're a little higher on Troy Fautano. I'm actually with you here on this one. I have him ranked above Fuaga. And Headley, you have Fuaga as your 3rd-ranked offensive tackle. We'll start with Fuaga.
Me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Talise Fuaga. He's my 3rd-ranked guy. These guys, they're really close, man. I think on the big board, they're one right after each other. I think both of these guys are top 15 prospects in this class. They just do it a little differently. Fuaga, he's going to give you the power. He's going to give you the run game beastness, and then Fuaga is the guy that, the mirror matchability. Fautano. It's too much FU going on, man. Fuaga. But yeah, Fautano is the mirror matchability. I think he got some of the greatest hands in the class. We're going to get to him, but let's go with Fuaga right now. Love his movement ability. He fires off the ball in the run game, gets his landmarks in the passing game. I like his hands. He's ready to work all the time. The outside hand, though, we've seen it on tape with guys bending the edge a little bit on him, but I always go back to that Latu tape, man. Against UCLA, the best pass rusher in the class and he fared really well with the best hand technician, the best pass rusher. He could get beat initially. He got beat initially by Latu a little bit, but he got back in phase and kept him away from the quarterback. So all the concerns about Fuaga, but he handled Latu pretty well in that game. I think he fits really nasty in the zone scheme. Fit nicely in the zone scheme. He's nasty also. He finished drives. He drives guys. He's one of those nasty right tackles. And I brought up the game against Latu. I thought he did really good. But he's dominant. He's dominant in the run game. You get him in that zone scheme, get him into that second level, super athletic. I think he's one of the most athletic tackles in this class. Very easy, fluid mover to the second level. And his ability to get to the other side of the field, man. I got it in my notes to cross defender space on those seal blocks. And he could turn those 15-yard runs into 60-yard runs. So if you're a team like the New York Jets and you want to run the football, the Green Bay Packers in that zone scheme, any of those teams in that outside zone scheme, I think Fuaga is your guy if you're looking for that right tackle. And then Fautanu, he'll be the guy if you're looking for that left tackle to protect your quarterback. So very different games, but similar grades on both of these guys.
The thing about Fuaga that I find that jumped out at me initially, right? It's the first thing that comes to mind whenever I think about him is the amount of down blocks he was making, right? And really collapsing either the front side or the back side of the line of scrimmage. And it's impressive. That is what jumps out at me. You mentioned the matchup in game against Latu. You fast forward to the Senior Bowl, and I think when Latu tried to put that inside move on him, he had mixed results, right? There was one time where he put Latu on his head, and another time, Fuaga overset, and it was an easy rep for Latu. So that's the question, right? Sometimes he's overcompensating to deal with that outside rush. I thought the guy that I thought had a really good day against him, or really good week against him, was Adisa Isaac. I thought Isaac gave him a ton of trouble, and Isaac is one of those players that has that ability to win inside and outside as well. So it's the outside hand for me. It really is the outside hand for me with respect to Fuaga. If he can solve for that, I certainly understand why you would have him as high as the third-ranked offensive tackle. But as you mentioned, Headley, close grade here for them. Drew, let's get your thoughts on Fuaga before you move on to Fautanu.
Yeah, Fuaga, strong, powerful, physical. He's always going to try to get his punch out first, which normally he does. He is a mauler in the run game, in the pass game. We'll get to his set, but does struggle with speed rushers. You talked about Adisa Isaac. Another guy that I saw watching the tape that beat him was my guy, who's not getting a whole lot of love because he stayed injured. ZTF. ZTF got them quick hands that I call it the spider hands, spider attack hands, whatever I call them. I forget what I call them. Some spider hands, whatever it is. But he used that quicks to power, and he was able to get up and around Fuaga a couple of different times. But when I watched the Braylon Trices of the world going against him, he was stonewalling folks. So I think power guys, it's going to be easy peasy lemon squeezy. But technicians, guys with a plan, or speed guys, or guys with that combination he's gonna struggle with. So that's something that he's gonna have to fix. Like you said, the outside hand, he just and then by the way, how them arms? How long them arms?
Right? The 34.
They suggest more interior than exterior. I think he's 33 and change, if I'm not mistaken. I'll double check.
Yeah, that's what I think you said. 33.7/8 maybe.
Yeah, everybody wanted to push Fautanu inside, and of course they still want to push him inside.
You're talking about center.
You didn't necessarily agree with that, Headley, because you talk about functional strength from that perspective. But just in terms of arm length, I think Fautanu has long arms, 33 and 1/8.
1/8.
Yep.
So we right at the front of the 33 right there. We're not even on the other end of that, boy. So we're headed to the other end of that, boy. So okay. So that may be part of the issue in terms of when speed guys can get to him and get around him, right? And technicians to set him up. But in terms of Fautanu, what's that? My number 3 guy. It's the movement ability for me. And sometimes it's a joke how easy it is for him to just move. And I can't think of the play who they were going against, but he like did a
Spin
spin
move.
or turned his back. It was ridiculous. I'm like, how is that even possible, bro? You know what I'm saying? Right? And and I think we need to start watching Washington because I'm assuming they have a type in terms of their offensive line, right? I guess the coach left there, so maybe that changes over there at Bama. So maybe you need to start watching Bama or find out who the offensive line coach is that was there this past season, and maybe follow that guy because he has a type, and that may be that type of player may start to come out wherever. Again, got to find who that coach is, but super athletic, can move well. Like Ellie was saying, get him in that zone scheme so he can get up and out and on the move. Um, Good down blocker. And I know Henley said he doesn't necessarily like his functional strength. Um, to me, he does enough for me for it not to be a concern, right? And then I talk about guys that aren't necessarily all that strong. Fautano's got a couple of things that he can do to you, and one of the things that I always talk about if you do struggle with strength or you're just not necessarily that strong is to seal guys off. Or take a guy where he want to go. Right? You got enough strength to just you want to go. Okay, I'm gonna push you. I'm gonna push you where you want to go, and then I'm gonna push you out of the play. Right? So and Fautano will do that. Right? And he's got a bit of a nasty streak in his game as well, which I love.
Yeah, that was something with Fautanu when I watched him more and more because I thought he was a little finesse, but when you watch him more and more, he's nasty. He's just really smooth. So when you think of somebody really smooth, you think finesse,
right? Because
but
it looks elegant, but there's a violence there. There's a violence there for sure. Yeah,
super violent, man. And his hands are almost cat-like. Fautanu now, man. This guy, he sets up defenders. You know how defenders sets up offensive linemen? Well, he's an offensive lineman that's setting up defenders with those ghost punches. He'll pretend to punch, but then be ready for the secondary move. Yeah, man, it's cat-like, and he got that snap trap move. When he throws defenders into the ground. But see, the move to the interior, I think you're taking away his superpowers if you move him inside. I'm hearing center now with him, and maybe center more than guard because of the movement ability. But man, this guy's a great tackle, so I wouldn't want to move him inside because when he got beat. It was against interior guys. I saw Byron Murphy beat him with a power play through his block, and also Chris Jenkins beat him. Brandon Dorless beat him a couple times. So every time he got beat, Dorless is the guy. Every time he got beat was against interior guys, man. So I'm not with moving him inside. I like him as a tackle position. Yeah, man. He just the mirror and matchability, great. Gets into a nice stance from the snap for the pass rush. Good jump allows him to win matchups. Quick hands. He keep defenders at bay with those crazy hands. Really good awareness. He could get out there in the screen game and locate. You see him cleaning folks out there in the screen game. Him and Rosengardner. They like to run a lot of wide receiver screens, and did he really get out there? He's an easy mover in space. He could pull. He could do it all, man. So really high on Fautano as a tackle. Maybe a center, but I don't know as a guard. So he's like the other guy you mentioned, Drew, where tackle and center might be the two best positions for Fautano.
I think you're referring to was that Isaiah Adams, if I'm not mistaken, or was it
Pooney? No,
Pooney. That was Pooney.
It was Pooney.
Pooney. Yeah.
Mr. C. Prassy filling us in here. Pause it up. Pause that up. Pause. The offensive line coach from UW last year is now the O-line coach for the Seahawks. So I think for Abe Lucas and Charles Cross, that actually bodes very well because they strike me. There's some similarities, right? When we think of Lucas, we think of Cross, we think in terms of what they do in the passing game. So that should be interesting. I like that addition there.
Yeah. And I got in my notes talking about the offensive line coach. I got in my notes. You could tell Fautano was coached really well because that technique that he plays with is almost flawless. So yeah, that coaching for Seattle now with Seattle, I think that's going to be big for the Seahawks offensive line.
All right, and you guys are split. You guys are split on the top tackle here. Headley, you have Alt as your OT1, Fashanu as OT2, and vice versa for Drew. So we'll go to the OT1 slide here, and we'll start with Olu Fashanu, CPGM Drew. Mute.
Terrible.
Scott Huff. What's the coach's name?
Olu Fashanu. I'm not coming down off of Olu Fashanu. I love the feet. I love
DP sticking with it
the
too.
hands.
DP sticking
Listen,
with
we not
Fashanu as the top tackle
we
as well.
and he would have been the number one tackle last year. The only reason, as DP had stated, he stayed in school. You know, he's got I think it's is it Nigerian or African parents? I can't forget what he said. That kept him in school because they value that, which is fine, right? You got to get the NIL money, so that even increased the incentive to stay in school, right? But I love the hands, I love the feet, everything matches up. He's got tempered aggression, right? Controlled aggression, uses it when it's necessary. Will get out in space and find his guy. He also will drop his anchor and get that punch out, man. Like we talked about this with a couple of different guys, but he'll get that punch out. He can stymie guys. He can hold guys up. He's strong at the point of attack. Like, he is the entire package. And then you talk about, you know, the body type that you want. He's the whole. I don't know why you coming up off. You know, and I know we was it splitting hairs here because it's 1A, 1B. I think that's probably what you're gonna say. But I can't. No, bro. Nah, I think I ain't doing it.
Gotta stick with your guns, bro.
Yeah,
gotta stick with your guns, man.
Plus, bro, he's black, bro. What's going on?
Oh man. Well, if you want to bring that into it, man, the white offensive linemen, man, they pretty good at the next level. They might win that war. We might have the receivers, the running backs, the corners. You know, other than Trent Williams, that guy's different. But
right. Trent is different.
They got the guys over there, bro. But I always go back, man. Like, if you talk about 2022 season, it's Olu. If you're talking about 2023 season, it's Joe Alt. If you're talking about the run game, it's Joe Alt. If you're talking about the pass game, it's Fashanu. So, you know, both of these guys are like 1A, 1B, like you said, Drew. I think with Fashanu, he moves really well in the run and the pass game. Let me get my notes is messed up right there. Yeah, he moves really well in the run and pass game. His feet are good in his pass sets. The grip strength, I like his grip strength. I think that's impressive about Fashanu, where once he gets his hands on the defender, it's pretty much over. He can move, locate at the second level, arms and hands stand out. That's what really stands out to him. He stonewalls defenders. And a lot is said about the 23 tape against Ohio State and Michigan. But like I said, to me, it was maybe one, maybe two bad reps against JT. And I think a lot of times with Olu, it's three things. It's his leverage, his balance, and I think most importantly, his eye discipline. Sometimes his eyes take him inside when it should go outside, or outside when it should take him inside. So I think that's the issue with Olu. I think that's an easy fix at the next level. You fix that up. I think he's good to go. I just think Alt is a better technician right now, has better eye discipline, better in the run game, and had the better 2023 tape. So that's why I kind of flip-flopped it at the end there. But both of these guys, man, are great, man. Starting caliber left tackles at the next level.
All right, Headley, let's talk about Joe Alt. I mean, you mentioned the areas that you think he might be superior to Fashanu, and of course the opposite of that, where Fashanu has the edge. But as Drew mentioned, you kind of have a 1A, 1B situation. Why is Alt 1A for you?
Like I said, the 2023 tape, the run game, I think he's always in a stance. He's ready for the pass rusher moves. He's really patient. You know, he keeps his hands like right here in the middle of his body, but he gets it up there. Like I say, from a technical standpoint, I think he's a little bit better than Olu coming into the league. I think he's more ready to go right now. He's excellent in the run game. Like I said, very patient in his pass sets. Sometimes he's a little bit too patient, but, you know, but I like his patience, though. He plays with great leverage for a tall guy. You know, sometimes some of these taller guys, the leverage is a little bit wonky. But I thought Alt leverage is not the best because of how tall he is, but I think he's pretty okay there. And I say while Olu struggles a little bit with power, you know, Alt could struggle a little bit of twitch. I've been seeing that also power gets him off balance a bit, but I think he holds up pretty good against power. He's a road grader in the run game. I like him, like I said, with the Blake Fisher. When we were talking about him, man, putting him on that unbalanced line, let him get after it in the run game. It's just really nice to see. And I think he's improved a lot from last season. Last season, I wasn't as high as Joe. I think he was off the tackle 3 coming into the year. I think I had Olu, then Latham, then Joe Alt. But what Alt showed me this year, man, I just couldn't ignore it, man. And when I'm watching the tape, I thought he got better as a movement ability, because I thought he was more phone boothy last season, not as great in the movement like Olu, but I thought he improved his movement ability and the nastiness. That's something I really want to see with Joe Alt. And I think it could be even more nasty at the next level. But yeah, man, I like both of these guys a lot.
Yeah, I think you have a tendency and I'm not dismissing your points regarding the improvement that you saw in his 2023 film versus 2022, but you got a type. You lean towards the physicality, right? The guy that is more physically imposing in terms of his play, and I can certainly understand that. What about you, Drew? What do you like about Joe Alt here?
Yeah, I got here. I got one issue with him. I got here. There's still some power drive that is missing from Joe Alt. I'll give you that initial stick at the point of attack, then there's no movement. And so I think I talked about this earlier. I think it was with one of the interior guys where, if he can be stacked and shed, and give up, what would have been a lane for the running back to work, right? I think that he has to develop that if you're not going to move the guy, and I think part of his issue is, I know Headley said he thought he had good leverage. I would say in these situations, no, that's part of his issue is the leverage thing, right? And I think if he's got to develop that seal move, if he's not going to move a guy, then you got to develop the seal move for me, so that lane can be opened and sealed off, so your guy can make the move. Otherwise, I think he has all the requisite attributes that you want from the position. His ability to move his face, because he used them a lot, to down block, double block. In terms of his pass set, he does get to his mark, his landmark where he needs to be. Hands and are out that match his feet. He'll punch guys. Like he's almost the total package. And maybe I'm being greedy, bro. I don't know. Maybe I'm asking for too much.
It happens. Sometimes we ask for a bit too much. Very young prospects. I think they're both 21 years of age. So very, very high upside. I think there's an outside chance, although it seems the NFL may have soured a little bit on Fashiono. I think there's an outside chance they both end up in the top 10. It's probably a little bit more remote now, considering the push for the receivers and the quarterbacks, but certainly both of them, I expect them both off the board within the first 15 selections. So great stuff. I really enjoy just kind of soaking up the knowledge here as it relates to your film study with respect to the interior offensive linemen and offensive tackles. For our audience, we'll be back on Tuesday, 9 p.m. And then, of course, Thursday, Friday for sure, and possibly Saturday with our live draft reactions as we get the 2024 NFL draft underway and put a bow on this draft cycle. It's been a great draft cycle to this point. There's going to be a flurry of content on the channel. So as I said earlier, you want to be sure to subscribe. Do us a favor, hit that like button. And I think that's it. I think that's all of the administrative stuff that I wanted to get to. So Mrs. Prassi, man, we appreciate you riding with us. Everybody who stuck with us throughout this live stream, thank you. And we'll see you again this Tuesday. For Headley and Drew, we'll see you next week.